AFL, NRL, football, rugby, tennis, basketball, and specialty programs. Catch up on the latest sports news and stories with ABC Sport on socials via Facebook, X, and Instagram. For the best experts, analysis, and live sport, listen to ABC Sport on your DAB Plus digital radio 24 hours a day or on the ABC Listen app.
Ben Cameron and Corbin Middlemash from ABC Sport here.
Alongside Paul Roos, Brett Delidio and Poppy Penny, we bring you all the latest AFL news from both on and off the field on the ABC AFL Daily podcast.
You can hear it all on the ABC Listen app.
Time to steady and pull the trigger!
Get ABC AFL Daily Podcast. It's your daily footy conversation. Find it on the ABC Listen app.
ABC Sport.
On ABC Sport, this is the AFL.
Room to steady and finish!
It's close to the goal line and might have got there! Another one!
Sit back, relax, witness the greatest. It don't get better than this.
Rampy from 55 can ride it all the way home.
Huge fend off and kicks the goal. The skipper off a step finishes.
Take a seat, 'cause it don't get better than this.
Right foot strike. He's got it.
Oh, the home fans like that.
Takes a bounce, unguarded, goal square. He's got it.
Reed's going to go for goal. Oh my goodness, that truly is remarkable.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Take a seat, 'cause it don't get better than this.
On radio, on digital, and on the ABC Listen app.
You take a seat, 'cause it don't get better than this.
Saturday night footy on ABC Sport has you at the Gabba in Brisbane. My name is Quentin Hull. Welcome along. It's a gorgeous scene for the reigning champions, the Brisbane Lions, to take on the Port Adelaide Football Club. The Lions rolling along fresh off potentially, arguably, their best performance at the season. They went to Gardenia Park and beat Geelong by 41 points last start. And they've had a bye, and now they're back at home to see if they can continue to build a really good case and launching pad for the September defence of the pennant they picked up last year. And what about Port Adelaide? Well, since the bye, their footy's been pretty good. 4 starts, 3 since the bye. Overall, they're just clinging on. Is it Tour de France time yet? I use the analogy all the time. Anyway, they are clinging on to the back of the peloton in the race for the finals in 2025. They flogged the Blues last start, but lost to Sydney prior to that. But outside of that, had wins over the Demons and Greater Western Sydney. They've got a key forward in good form, and they come to Brisbane tonight with a fair bit of optimism that they can play some good footy against a Lions team that has been far from unbeatable at home this year. And they'll do it with a couple of really big names. One of their veterans returns from a knee injury. Ollie Wines has missed the last couple of weeks, but he's back in for Port tonight. And the prize recruit from the Gold Coast Suns, Jack Lukosius, will play just game 3 in the Port Adelaide Black, White and Teal, having overcome his knee and back injuries which have hampered his first season at Alberton Oval. As mentioned, could not get better conditions for footy here tonight. There's another game which is being played at Docklands. We'll keep you updated here. It's St Kilda up against Hawthorn. If you want to hear it, it's available on the ABC Listen app. Look for the AFL button there, but we'll keep you up to date with the Saints and the Hawks, as well as everything else that's going on tonight. There's the continuation of the NRL and the British and Irish Lions. They take on the Waratahs tonight. We've got Wimbledon coming your way later tonight, and then Test cricket through to the early hours of the morning. It's wall-to-wall sport on ABC Sport, and you can hear it all on the ABC Listen app. But if you are just catching up with the day's footy, a 6-goal surge in the last quarter for Gold Coast saw them get past Essendon by 41 points in the first of the 2 games that have been played at Docklands today. Suns won at 18-7, 115 to the Bombers 11-8, 74. And the Cats have just towed up the Tigers by 72 at Gardenia Park. Final score there, Geelong 18-16, 124 to Richmond's 7-10, 52. I'll be calling the action alongside Michael Price. Always a pleasure to spend a night, afternoon, or whatever time we get to the footy, Michael. But it's got the winter chill about, but it's clear and look like good conditions for footy. Something's fun about Port coming here because we're old enough to have those memories.
Yeah, indeed. And they were always close games back in the day in the halcyon triple premiership years of Brisbane. And look, I'm just privileged to be in the best seat in the house yet again, Q. I'm looking forward to this contest. Port have actually shown something over the last 3 weeks, as you've said. Brisbane, just before the bye, one of the best wins that they have had in several years, to be honest with you, against Geelong in Geelong. They've had the week's break. This should be a magnificent contest. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with one of our favourite players, Miles Bergman. They're taking him from the back line into the midfield against Carlton was an absolute masterstroke. He did brilliantly against Cripps. See what he does, and Port Adelaide fans would be so happy that he re-signed earlier on in the week for another couple of years as well to put those 3 Victorian clubs to bed as well. So, looking forward to seeing what happens with the coaching moves and how the magnets spin, but it's going to be a good night.
And Josh Sin re-signing as well during the week.
Indeed.
So there's been a bit of news around Port Adelaide. So we've brought in the big guns from, let's call it the greatest era of rivalry between these two clubs. Gee, they bashed heads regularly, and they do it in the commentary box in a verbal jousting kind of way.
I know who I'd back.
If it was a physical joust, I'd back one. If it was a verbal joust, I'd back the other.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah.
We've got Matthew Primus and Jason Ackermanis, two greats of these two football clubs.
The running joust.
Yeah, Jason, welcome to you. Matthew, welcome to you. Great to have you on board. Let's set it up. The story tonight is Port Adelaide, I think. And I say that, Matt, because the gap is almost becoming too much. I spoke about the back of the peloton. Yeah, they're just about gone, those teams that are a couple of wins away from the 8. So it's a must-win tonight for Port.
It is, Q. The Tour de France is a bit like the Alpe d'Huez is about to start tonight for Port.
You don't want to be at the back of the peloton going up those hills.
You don't want to be going up there, man. Right,
no help.
One slip up and she's all over if it isn't already, sort of thing. So, look, their form has improved. But, their last 5 visits here, they lost by 5 or 6 goals every game. They've got a couple of good ins. They would have got some good form off last week. And the unknown with Brisbane is I've seen Brisbane play great 3 times this year. Geelong, Hawthorn and the Suns here were their 3 outstanding games. And after that, they've been just going through the motions, haven't they? Sort of a great 1 or 2 quarters and then average for a couple. So.
And that leads me into the question I was going to ask Jason Ackermanis. Which Brisbane do you believe? The team that went to Geelong or the team that got beaten here by Greater Western Sydney a couple of starts ago? It is a mystery, Jace. Their ladder position is perfect, but you know what it's like. Being reigning premier, everyone's up to try and get at you. You might have a few key changes, which, of course, Joe Danaher heads that category here. So how do you reckon the Lions are going, Jace?
Well, there's so much in that question. I'm not going to unpack it all. I'm just going to say this. Last game 2 weeks ago, they have had the bye against Geelong. Was amazing. They have played unbelievably well away from home at times. And they've been up emotionally. It's been fun for them. At home, it just feels like a bit of a chore at times. That said, if you have a look at the Lions and you have a look at their history, this group, not our era, well, it's wonderful. We could punch each other, we could run around, you could run off the mark. We could do great stuff. But these guys, after the bye, are the best team in the comp the last 3 or 4 years. And I know that they know that, and I know that they are coming, and this is when they start to really wind up. At home, they'll be disappointed at the break, but they'll also know that there's reasons for that. And, you'll see tonight, with any luck, that both teams, if Brisbane will give you a chance here, they will give you a chance, but I'm not sure tonight that it'll be as much a chance because the opposition mightn't be able to take advantage of that.
There are no late changes. Darcy Gardner is the sub for Brisbane, who at selection, including Gardner and Archie, they missed the trip to Gardenia Park. They were ill. So Bruce Reville and Will McLaughlin are both dropped. And for Port, as mentioned, Lukosius and Wines in, Lydian Evans are out, and Hugh Jackson is the sub for Port Adelaide tonight.
Well, now, you know you've got a team when you've got a Norm Smith medalist and arguably the best player coming through in Jasper Fletcher on the bench.
Well, that's where they'll start tonight.
But in our era, that was you're a level down.
Yes. Now, Port fans, forgive me, but I think you'll get what I'm going with here, and I'm going to ask this to Matthew before the bounce because Michael and I were speaking about it we said, what are we going to get tonight? It's that chat before the game. And I said, unfortunately for Port Adelaide, you know after 10 minutes whether you're going to get a game or not. You know after 10 minutes. Are they up for it tonight, Matt? And is that a fair comment?
Well, their stats say if they're behind a quarter time, they've lost every game. So, yeah, if they're not in the game early with their competitiveness and run and contest and all that stuff, the game gets away from them very quickly. So, yes, the first 10 or 15 away from home here will tell if their story and how they pulled up from last week. So, I would envisage with all that's on the line, they would be right in the game early days. I'd be very disappointed if they weren't.
How would you defend Mitch Georgiades if you were Chris Fagan?
Oh, he's a talent. He's a
Jace?
talent.
Yeah, I think Harris Andrews would be trying to drop off as much as he can and get in front of him.
Good luck.
Playing the lesser
team
light.
defence on that one. It's about to start. It should be a river, but he's a star, that boy.
And it's been in excellent form. So it's Brisbane and Port Adelaide here. The Hawks and the Saints about to start at Docklands. We'll keep you up to date. Here's the opening bounce at the Gabba with Michael Price.
Nice bounce there by umpire Stevens. It was knocked down by Darcy Ford, who's in the ruck. Oscar McInerney
Hasn't gone anywhere, Pricey.
It's just landed at the feet.
That's the point. Get on with it.
And there's going to be a secondary bounce as Lockie Neal locks horns with Horn Francis, who goes in and tries to extract the ball. Dunkley takes it off his hands, flicks it back. McLuggage, he missed the target, picked up there by Byrne Jones, kicks it inside 50 for Port. Georgiades flies, then fisted away from him. He did some good work at ground level to gather, tackled off the ball. Horn Francis gathers, he's tackled by 3 lines, 40 metres out. It's going to be balled up. So a little scrappy start in the middle and a little bit of argy-bargy between the midfielders.
Even the set-up forward, they had 4 pairs in there. Lions had 1, and Port Adelaide, look out, they've got a crowded forward line.
Butters crashes through the contest, won the ball but threw it. Illegal disposal, free kick to Dunkley.
Ryan Lester's gone to Georgiades, so that's the matchup. I'm sure Andrews will be looking to drop off as much as he can.
Dunkley kicks the half-back, but Burgoyne floats across in a 2-on-2. Read that well, and is not paid the mark.
Free kick.
Free kick for
because Byrne Jones was blocked out of it by Zorko before Burgoyne took the mark. So Byrne Jones, right half forward, 60 out, kicks a wobbler to the pocket for Port. Andrews brings it to ground for Brisbane, cleared by Wilmot. A rushed high kick towards left half back. Alir punches the ball away from Day. Out of play for a boundary throw in. As far as the optics of the evening, Brisbane's got their maroon Indigenous strip on tonight, and Port Adelaide playing in its away strip white.
Just say it, Q, butt crack. It just from this angle, if you it looks like that's
butt crack jersey.
Oh dear, thrown in on the Vulture Street wing, slapped towards the boundary line. It was picked up by Burgoyne, immediately claimed by Zach Bailey over the boundary line. We're going to throw in wide half forward.
Again, word pictures. There is yellow at the bottom of the playing strip on the rear, and there is a tree trunk coming out from the bottom of the back of the jersey, which, as Jason said, looks a little like
I
a
don't think they thought about that.
Looks like the pants are down just a couple of inches. They've thrown in at right half forward, off hands. Burgoyne did beautifully. The handball into Powell Pepper put him under enormous pressure. He dropped it, picked up by Wilmot. He did a 780 and then kicked it out of bounds on the full anyway. So Port got the justifiable free kick in the end. It's going to go to Connor Rosie, just forward to centre wing on the Vulture Street side on the boundary.
He plays well up here too, Connor.
Well, he announced himself, I think it was his 3rd game when he kicked a few goals, won the Rising Star back in his first year. Kick and a half from goal. Rosie again sets it to a pack in the pocket. Off hands. Georgiades roves and snaps with his left boot, but snaps near side for the first score of the night, which is a behind to Port. 3 minutes played at the Gabba.
Oh, immediately. Brisbane bring it back in. It was kicked basically towards Brendan Starcevich. He dropped it, hacked back in there by Lukosius inside 50. Darcy Fort fists it away. Then it rebounds back into his arms. He can't quite hold it. Butters got there. Couldn't take it with him. Very scrappy. Picked up by Rioli. He doesn't miss from 15. He does not miss from 15, Willie Rioli. He only had half a chance, and that's more than what he required. 1-1-7 to Port. The Lions yet to score. 3 minutes 18 gone, first term.
Just really good defensive stuff from Port early. Inside 50s, 5 zip, and they've just been able to pin them, get repeat ones in, and eventually the down wall breaks, as it always does. Hit the hot spot, a great crumb there, but really set up by their ability to lock the ball in their forward 50 early.
Even Burgoyne's looking sharp. They're just, coming out of the blocks. I think the Lions they look like that little bit of rust that week off, always happens. They'll get back into it, get their eye back in the game. Willie Rioli, the bit of check side, Chenata. What do you call it down there in South Australia? Who knows?
That's the
That's the checky.
The check side.
Yeah, check side.
Speaking
no less foot, but who cares when you kick him like Will?
Bergman's gone to McCluggage. So normally Lockie Neal's the tag option, but obviously he's identified McCluggage who's been in amazing form and ability to get outside. That's the one they've gone with.
Matt Promise and Jason Ackermanis with you. Centre bounce. Neal is tackled there by Butters at the stoppage. Got rid of it. Drew picks up for Port Adelaide. Hands to Pal Pepper, hands it to Bergman, who runs to high half forward. Kicks Port deep into attack. Starcevic reads it well. Can't mark in the contest with Horn Francis, though. And the fumble sees the Sherrin fall out of play for a boundary throw in the left forward pocket for Port. They're kicking to the right of your radio dial in this first quarter. In pristine Saturday night conditions, you're hearing round 17 action on ABC Sport. The ball's tossed in. It's Vicentini getting first hand against Fort. Not an effective tap, though. Ball rumbles clear of the stoppage on D50 for Brisbane. Lohmann picks up, tackle, dropped it. Pal Pepper, the tackler. Now Rosie comes in. Tackles Starcevic holding the ball.
Oh, what about the numbers for Port around the ball? It was like 5 or 6 to 1. They're hunting the lines early.
Rosie 60 out at centre half forward. Looking for another injection. He sets it to the top of the goal square. And a mark in the pocket. It is Georgiades coming up with it. I didn't want to assume.
Who else?
But he has got such a hot hand at the moment.
And a jump and a leap. You got to get those binoculars out, big fella.
Well, there were 3 others around him through my vision, Jace.
Yeah, you can't really see those. You know, the white numbers, and when they're jumping, they all look sort of similar, don't they, those balls?
So he's 15 metres out, Mitch Georgiades. In the left forward pocket, looking to do the right-footed snap punt, and executes perfectly. Port with a great start in Brisbane. The power 2-1-13, the Lions yet to go inside 50.
You can't really say much out of that, Matty Promise. They are dominating. And yeah. I know that, how do you go as a coach? You're always thinking, hey, if we're getting 6-7 in, we've got to make them count, but we also know how many we can get shots on goal. At the moment, the Lions, just in that midfield contest, they're going man on man, but they're pushing them into the contest, Port Adelaide, and they're doing a good job. So the Lions are going to have to adjust, make some moves, I think, just in the centre square, just to get some confidence, Matty.
Yeah, early on, absolutely. And George looks, I know Froggy Les has been an amazing servant, but he just looks undersized to be able to go with Georgiades. He got a great block by Byrne then to be able to jump with the ball, but he just looks a bit too powerful on him. Not that you want to get one-on-ones, and that wasn't, but it's a matchup to be concerned about early, I reckon.
Starcevic, maybe.
Jordan Sweet in the ruck now for Port, slaps it forward. Zorko toes it back towards the centre squares, picked up by Sweet. He gave it to Travis Polk, tackled by 3 Lions, held up. It's going to be a ball up. Just forward of the centre circles for Port Adelaide. 7 inside 50s to 0 so far. Sweet slaps it down again. It was well done by Bergman, who ferreted a ball out to Rosie. He hacks it inside 50. Rioli spoiled there by Answorth. Answorth gathered the ball. Rioli tackled him. 40 out. There'll be another ball up in Port's forward 50.
Just another great job of just holding the ball in forward 50 then, losing the mark, but able to lock it up and have a stoppage inside forward 50.
They're quick.
Saints Hawks has just begun. It's on the AFL button on the Listen app. Neal with the clearance. No, he'll get a free kick. He hand passed to Answorth. They were breaking clear, but the ump brings it back. Lockie Neal with the free kick. Short pass to Bailey, chips it down the corridor, marked by Rayner at half-back, hands it back to Bailey, runs to the defensive arc of 50, kicks wide, Levi Ashcroft marks and kicks around the wing to Hipwood. And the Brisbane fans think, oh, what, you're going that way? Nice to see you forward of centre. It's the first time they've been there. Hipwood with a high kick inside 50 and Morris with the sticky hands. Had 99% of it, not enough to pay the mark. McCluggage rose for Brisbane. Hands to Rayner under pressure. He's rushed off his kick, but it's rode by Zorko and a left foot snap. Doesn't have enough curl. Misses to the near side, 4 behind. Brisbane finally get inside 50 after 8 minutes. And they get their first score. Port Adelaide 2-1-13. Brisbane 1 behind. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. What did you see, Jason Ackermanis?
That was a mark.
Yep.
Logan Morris is stiff there. But what about the great man, the oldest man on the field by a mile? Is he older than Boak? They're on each other. Him and, of course, Zorko.
It's kicked back in. That is a precise kick. Ollie Wines, the recipient, gave it back there to the runner Rosie. Kick to half forward. Nicely taken there. Lukosius back in the side. Handball to Boak. Boak from 50. Kicks it in the Rioli direction. It was beautifully read. Getting back there. Eric Hipwood, 20 metres from his defensive goal, takes a defensive mark.
Oh, big silly dumb blokes, really. He's like saying, slow it down. No, you got options. Go.
Ainsworth kicks from the back pocket to the wing. Free kick going to McCluggage. Zirk Thatcher with an illegal spoil out in front of the benches on the southern side. McCluggage with a short pass. Levi Ashcroft marks, chips infield to Hipwood, who's energetic early.
He plays very well against Port too. He always kicks the bag.
Long kick on the wing is a bullet inside 50 to Archie. That was a fantastic 60-metre left foot drop punt pass.
Yeah,
and Archie marks at 40 from goal in the right forward pocket.
Sorry, Q. Both Port's defenders got caught way up the ground then, and that's why Archie was all by himself. They got caught on the mark, and then Redigalee got caught way up the ground, and Archie was able to sneak out the back, and well found by Brisbane.
And he just come on the field too, so he's fresh, he's getting under, he's getting out, he's reading it well. He's such a good forward, Archie, he really is.
Tough angle. 45 out, strike with the right boot. It shaved the post, I think. It's a behind. Yeah, might have missed across the face. Nonetheless, a minor score. Port 2-1-13, Brisbane 2 behinds. The Docklands, the Saints 1 behind, Hawthorn yet to score.
It's over. That game.
Brought back in. Lakosha spoiled on the arc of 50 into Will Ashcroft. Handball backwards. Harris Andrews, subterranean handball to Lockie Neal. He went too far. The ball was knocked out of his hands. Illegal disposal. It was picked up by McCluggage, immediately tackled. Port will get out of this. It's hacked out of there by Butters towards Burn Jones. Got in front of Zorko. Didn't take the mark, but he loaded up and gave the handball away. Boak knocked off it by Zorko. It's pretty intense there at left half forward for the Lions. It was picked up by Levi, gave it to Will. Will tried to get around 2 Port players. Couldn't do it. Well tackled by Aaliyah and Butters. It's going to be Aaliyah's free kick anyway.
It's messed up his hair, but it's jury out there, fellas.
Kick's not 15. Boak called to play on after the so-called mark. Chips to Lukosius, grabs it on the wing. Kick to the edge of the centre square, front on spoil against Dunkley. Free kick goes to Bergman of Port. Bergman with his right boot, kicks it inside 50, no one near it for Port Adelaide. Andrews in the hole to take the mark for Brisbane. There is energy about this early on. If you're one of those Port fans thinking you'll know early if you're on or not, well, the signs are good early for the visitors. Andrews chips to Answorth, marks, plays on, kicks to half back. Zorko marks, kicks it to the middle of the ground. Farrell makes the fisting spoil. Back to a 50-50 at half-back for Brisbane, won by Bailey of the Lions. Hands it to Hipwood, hands it back to Bailey. Runs the bullseye, kicks inside 50. Charles Cameron marks, plays on, and says, John Denver, get into it early.
Oh, yeah.
Into the open goal he goes. And it's Saturday night karaoke time at the Brisbane Cricket Ground.
Yeah.
Go Jace, it's become a thing.
Ginger, I sing this at home in the gym. Mouth to mama, take me home.
Port Adelaide 2-1-13, Brisbane 1-2-8. 12 minutes travelled in the first quarter at the Gabba on Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Gives you goosebumps out there, Matty. Sorry, even you as a Port
Your
Adelaide
singing
player,
gives me goosebumps. Don't worry about that. But that's the Achilles heel of Port, their ability to dominate territory, 10-4, but sometimes they can just waste the ball going inside 50, and they wasted that one, and then it just bounced out. And when it can bounce out quickly, there's no better team to watch in offence than Brisbane, and they certainly made them pay then.
So we're back into the middle. The a cappella starts. The music's gone. The umpire bounces the ball. It's picked up there by McCluggage. He's held up there by Bergman, who's wearing him.
This is the Gabba saying to the Power fans, you can keep your in excess. We got John Denver.
Back to Berry. Berry tackled off the ball by Boak. Gathered by Powell-Pepper. Has a ping from 50. Sam Powell-Pepper quietens the John Denver fans out there and gets Port's third. They are on tonight. 3-1-19. Plays 1-2-8 for the Lions. 11 points the margin. 13 minutes gone, first quarter.
What about that pressure, Matty?
Yeah, it's up, isn't it?
That was up. They had 4-1. If Berry didn't get rid of it, and that turnover there, that's what they need. And Powell-Pepper, can he kick a goal, that man?
The heat on the Brisbane ball carry is through the roof. If they can get through it, Brisbane, they look like they're going to score. But if they don't, that's probably the third or fourth holding the ball. And they're on with their stoppage stuff. The Brisbane have been the best team in the comp the last month with that. But 6-3 to Port, and they've kicked a couple of goals just like that one there.
Two greats of these footy clubs, Matt Primus and Jason Ackermanis, your experts at Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport. And this one has pinged out of the gates like Pride of Jenny. There is pace in this early. There is energy about the Gabba early in this one. Centre bounce, the goal kicker charges through. Palpepper wins the ball, hands it to Lukosius, gives it to Wines, back to Palpepper, rides a tackle, hands it to Farrell, hands it to half forward to Wines, wide to the flank, handed to Horn Francis, 52 out, low pass looking for Georgiadis, ball away by Leicester. Spillage went to Berry, lost it under the tackle. Rioli's got it, he's wrapped up. Ball up in the right forward pocket for Port, who lead it 3-2-19. So 3-1-19 to 1-2-8.
They're going to get a score here, Port.
13 tackles to 7 as well in favour of Port right now as the umpire throws it up. It's Sam Day with it, and he's tackled by Sweet. We'll do it all again.
Very crowded, though, Pricey.
Throw a T-towel over 20 players, and umpire throws it up 30 metres out. Sweet gets it down. McLuggage gathers, sold the big dummy, and then got onto the right foot towards the wing. Hipwood spoiled by Radagalia. Front and square was Lohman. Gave the handball to Rayner. Only his strength held him up. Farrell, the left foot, inside 50. Horn Francis had the set, dropped it under pressure. Now it's looped out of there by Answorth by hand. Gave it to Levi Ashcroft. His kick straight down the throat of Burgoyne. And that's not where it wanted to be. He's 70 from goal at right half forward for the Power.
Pressure from Port.
Kicks it to the pocket, does Burgoyne. Horn Francis, the target. Answorth does enough to spoil away. Ball out of play near the groundskeeper's race, which is in the right forward pocket at the western end of the Gabba.
Can I ask how big are your tea-towels, Pricey?
Enormous,
You did say
mate.
there was 20 players around it. That's
Enormous.
a big tea-towel.
Colloquialism, Jason.
Just alluding to the fact that they were close together.
Oh, my God.
Sweet with the tap. No rover, though, as Wines makes the tackle on Answorth. We'll have another stoppage with Port in attack.
Can't give Burgoyne this much space for the rest of the game.
Ball tossed in the air. Neither ruckman with a telling tap. Shut it out the back by Richards onto Palpepper. Hands it out the back from Rioli to Burgoyne. 60 out. Kicks it back to the corridor. And a contest. No mark. Richards comes through for Port. Has a fumble. Got nailed high by Answorth. Free kick.
It was sloppy, wasn't it?
Very clumsy by Answorth.
The incident.
It's being dealt with at the moment as well.
He's got pace and intensity. He's one of the few in the back line. They'll need more of Answorth's efforts, I'd say.
Young Joe Richards, the recipient of the free kick, and he's
Answorth
gives the handball over to Farrell from 55. He's a long kick, the left footer. He went for the extra distance but sprayed it. It's out of bounds on the full.
60 metres.
Harris Andrews will take the free kick adjacent to the behind post. He chips it forward. He finds Jasper Fletcher another 20 metres forward to McLuggage. McLuggage has got nobody standing the mark, and he's still
50
looking at, and it is 50. It's a good call. Horn Francis doesn't like it, and he's basically arguing with the umpire. He's not going to change his mind, Jason.
I'm telling you, he won't. Be nice to him. You get Brownlow votes.
McLuggage goes forward to the centre circles. Now he kicks it into the pocket. He's looking for a flyer. Nice spoil, the umpire says. No, it was a legal spoil. Well done by Willie Rioli, who threw it over the boundary line, and it's going to be a throw in about 30 metres out, right forward pocket.
Now, Big Vicentini's getting his knee looked at on the bench. He has it heavily strapped. Sweet's in the ruck at the moment against Day. Bailey rides the pack in the right forward pocket. Dribbles on goal and gets a bounce, which leaps over the left arm of Valia on the line. What a fortunate turn of events for Zach Bailey in Brisbane. That had the old grubber kick, as in it kicked at the right time, over the head of Valia, through for a goal.
6'10".
Yep, and you need a decent kick. Almost like it hit a speed bump just before the goal square.
Must be a hard ground out there if it's doing that.
Port Adelaide 3-1-19, Brisbane 2-2-14.
I know, he had momentum there, didn't he? Look at that replay, Matty Promise.
No body on him, was there, Akka? And if you allow a guy to get goal side of you, you're going to pay the price. But the disappointing thing with that was Horn Francis. He was just mindlessly dumb, running close to the guy on the mark, always at 50, and so you lose territory 30 metres out from your goal, and the ball ends up in stoppage in your opposite 50.
I kid you not, I went over just to have a chat to the Port media team before the game, and their players were out there, the Port players, trying to do grubbers at each other that kicked up.
Right, yeah.
So they've almost got their own medicine there.
The irony.
So back into the middle. This one's won by Port. It could be a free kick to Rayner. It is. He was pushed in the back. So the Lions with the free kick, looping around. It's Jasper Fletcher, gathers, kicks it long, inside 50. It's a big contest. Hipwood appealing for the free kick for held, nothing doing. Aaliyah gathers the ball. He's immediately tackled. Hipwood was one of them. The other player to peel himself off will reveal himself shortly. It's Sam Day. Ball up 35 metres out directly in front of the Lions' goal.
Hawks 1-2-8, Saints 1 behind. That game's tracking slightly behind this one. From the stoppage in the forward line for Brisbane, there's a free kick going Port's way. Willem Drew to receive it for Port Adelaide in the left back pocket. Kicks across the face of goal. Burgoyne marks, chips back to the corridor where Rosie takes the grab and decides to run on with a very short pass to Aaliyah. Aaliyah hand passes to Farrell, forward of half back, hands it to Boak in the middle of the ground, hands it to the wing for Sweet, hands it to Butters who'd run on. His kick inside 50s to a 2-on-1 against Georgiades. Fletcher had peeled off for Brisbane. Marks plays on quickly with a kick to the middle of the ground.
That's 50.
Rayner takes the grab. Crowd want it. Jace want it. Won't give it. He was held up a little on the mark. Rayner kicks wide, right half forward. Berry takes the grab, 70 from goal. Hands it to attacking 50. Dunkley receives. Hands to Bailey. 2 in a minute for Zach Bailey. Hits home with a running shot from 30 out, slight angle right. This has hummed out of the blocks at the Gabba. Brisbane go to the lead for the first time at 3-2 to 3-1, 20 minutes first term.
And I'll say this right now, if you're listening, this kid, Jasper Fletcher, is going to be better than the Ashcrofts put together. He is a superstar.
Wow.
You watch him run, he got down back, he put it to the middle. He does this all day, no one's picking it up. Barring a Greek tragedy, he's an amazing play, gets it back through the middle. Bailey's the recipient and gets a good goal. Watch him run, watch this boy play. He's a freak.
Well, that is a massive
We'll
goal.
keep that receipt.
Better,
Yeah.
bigger,
I think
better.
Q wrote it down. We'll keep that receipt.
Write that down. You write that down. We'll be talking about that every 12 months. He's going to get better and better and better.
I'll just remember it, Jason.
I know, all right. You just,
So 16
I'll text
inside
it to you.
50s to 7 in favour of Port Adelaide. Now Lions lead by a point. They'll win this clearance though. Port goes back to Bergman. Bergman from the centre square. It's a mongrel. And it was taken at the top of the goal square by Brandon Starcevic. A welcome return for Brisbane. Kicks it towards Darcy Fort. Chipping in there was Burgoyne. Burgoyne did beautifully to spoil. Then at ground level, gave the handball while sitting to Willie Rioli. Willie Rioli's kick into Powell Pepper was beautiful to watch. He hit him on the chest. Powell Pepper is 45 out though, and he's standing almost on the fence.
Yeah, a difficult kick, Pricey, but if they can make the right decisions going inside 50 like that, compared to Rosie before, he kicked the one short, it just bounced out of there. That's their second goal, Brisbane coast to coast. They can make them pay, but if they're sloppy going inside forward 50, Brisbane are going to make them pay on the scoreboard.
Super player to kick goals from that pocket.
Sam Powell Pepper starts his run up from the fence. He traverses the boundary line. Let's go from 50. That is a sweet strike. It's hit the post 2/3 of the way up. That is a magnificent kick. Not quite got the chocolates though. 3-2-20 apiece, 22 gone first term.
Have you seen anyone kicking from there before, mate?
Only on replays.
Zorko kicks down the middle of the ground to the bullseye. Aaliyah punches it back inside 50 off the restart. Taken though by Andrews of Brisbane. Hands it to Will Ashcroft, hands to Starcevic. Kick from centre half back wide to the half back flank looking for Archie. Jones beat him to the ball and runs it out of play. Boundary throw in. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Score check here. Port 3-2-20. Brisbane 3-2-20. Quentin Hull and Michael Price calling it with you with Jason Ackermanis and Matt Primus. Boundary throw in. Sweet beats Ford at ruck time. Ground level though. Horn Francis picks up for Port. Hands it to Bergman. Hands it to Drew who can bounce his way to attacking 50 left half forward. Chip inside 50's poor. Wilmot reads it and takes the mark in front of the leading Lukosius in the right back pocket for Brisbane.
When you're forward and midfield takes a bounce and you're on a hot one and just gets caught, doesn't see the defender dropping off.
Brisbane horseshoe it around and it goes with Jasper Fletcher. His kick towards Sam Day. It bounced in front of him. He tried to keep it in and ended up just knocking it over the boundary line. Young Vicentini still getting treatment on the bench for Port Adelaide. Still hasn't reappeared. So Jordan Sweet doing the majority of the ruck work, but this is 30 seconds we don't need to waste. The boundary umpire waiting for the two ruckmen to lumber over into position.
Get smaller, quicker players then.
Thrown in on the Vulture Street wing. Fort did well to get it down to Neil. Neil to Rayner, through Berry, now Fletcher, back to Neil into the corridor. Now to the runner, Darcy Wilmot. Little 9-iron. Chips it there too. Bailey spoiled. Picked up by Lohman. Flicked it over his head. Went to Archie. Archie goes bang. Oh, Harlan Bergtrotter stuff from the Brisbane Lions. That is magnificent. Absolutely brilliant play. 4-2-26 to 3-2-20 all of a sudden. The Lions lead by a goal with 24 gone.
This is an entertaining game. Again, Fletcher involved, gets it out there. What about the vision, Kai Lohman? Oh, he's one of my favourites for a reason, not just because he's got blonde hair and kicks it from everywhere. He's got no left foot, Matty Price, but that's Matty Price, but that is just brilliant.
Yeah, it is. Their smalls look like they're going to have a field day. Brisbane's small forwards, don't they, against Port's backs, who it's coming in quick and without too much pressure, but their bigs look like they can be covered, but their smalls look like they're going to have a field day when the ball hits the ground with their speed and athleticism.
It's daring by Kenny and Port. They've come here saying, okay, let's start in sixth gear and see how long we can go with it in that high oscillation with the reigning premiers.
Absolutely, mate. And all key figures are looking good for them, but they just can't stop them scoring when they break out to space. But the only way to start, though, Q.
Yep, centre bounce. Fort with a hand pass for Brisbane to Neil. Hands it to McCluggage. Hands to Zorko. All in tight. His hand pass to the wing is a little errant. Free kick, no. Bailey just nudged Sin off the ball. Wins it for Brisbane on the wing. Links back to Zorko on half forward. Hand pass to McCluggage, 60 from goal. Spearing kick infield. Archie has it spoiled away by Bergman. Still a Lions ball. Crumbed by McCluggage. 2 steps. Shoots. Another goal for Brisbane.
Wow.
Well, Port kicked the first 2, but Brisbane has kicked 5 of the next 6. Hugh McCluggage joins this quick fire scoring in the first quarter. Lovely shot off a step from 40. Brisbane 5-2-32. Port Adelaide 3-2-20. And here's the challenge, Matt. Port have come and said, righto, handbrake off from the start, but now, what do you do?
What do you got from there? Well, I tell you, the tag isn't working early. McCluggage is up to 10. 2 clearances, no clearances, 2 inside 50s and a goal, and just racking them up. So I'm not sure that tag's working, but they're just getting smoked when the ball gets outside the contest, and I'm not sure they've got the players to be able to cope with that. So they're just going to need to keep trying to dominate territory, which is 20-9. But wow, they've had 9 inside 50s, Brisbane, for 5 goals 2. That's scary.
When they win the ball, Port, they look great, and they will. They just got to get back to winning the ball. They look really good too.
So back into the middle. Jordan Sweet still on the ground. Vicentini still getting treatment for Port. He slaps it forward. Boak picks it up. He's tackled into the ground. He lets the ball loose. Picked up by Fort. His handball cut off by Rosie. He tried to get around a Carpel. Couldn't. Picked up by McCluggage. Kicks it inside 50. It was a half volley. Dunkley did well to just stop it. It was well done there by Jones. But he got tackled. Let it loose. Will Ashcroft from 40. That's another one. That is 6 in the first term for Brisbane. Boy, that's a very, very good kick from Will Ashcroft, Acker. 6-2-38 to 3-2-20. All of a sudden, it's a 3-goal margin with 27 gone first term.
And they are kicking them from everywhere. It's hard to kick them from everywhere. That spell has been good. Not that they were playing horrible footy before the break, but they've come back. They know they put that pressure on and they get their shots on goal, but they are kicking them tonight, Matty Primus, and that's just the thing. What do? You can't replace talent. You've got to keep the pressure on. It'll turn, but tonight it's a hell of an entertaining match early.
It's Jason Ackermanis and Matt Primus. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Meanwhile at Docklands, Hawthorn 2-4-16 lead St Kilda 1-1-7. Listen App's got the call on the AFL button. Back into the centre. Port need a response now. Sweet beats Ford at ruck time, but an ineffective tap stolen by Will Ashcroft of Brisbane. Hands it out the back to Neil. Clearance for Brisbane. Kick to half forward. Dunkley marks it. 50 from goal. Plays on quickly. Chips it to the sticky fingers. Yes, no. Radagalier with a legal spoil there on the lead of Hipwood, who's limping after that contest. Cameron's up a chance. Wrenched off the ball without it by Josh Sin. Free kick to Cameron. 30 out directly in front.
Too much pressure.
Yeah.
Too much pressure.
And the ball moving too quick. You can't just pick it up. Your brain's too slow when you've got guys moving that quick.
And just keep an eye on Eric Hipwood, who looked a little lame after that contest.
He looks lame half the time. Don't worry about him. That's a strut. Nothing wrong with him.
Well, he's already kicked 1 goal. on his 31st birthday. Straight in front, 30 out. Delivers a second.
Here we go.
Charlie Cameron with 2 first-quarter goals. It's been far from his best season, but he's had these little hot spurts, of which have seen the sing-along occur twice in the first quarter. That is now, can you believe it, 7 goals in the first quarter for Brisbane. They lead by 4 goals after Port got the jump. What's changed, gentlemen?
Oh, well, the territory's changed and the stoppage stuff. So they're winning it out of there and then bursting out of there, outnumbering in their forward 50. And as we mentioned, Port's backs just can't go with their athleticism, speed, agility, everything down in the forward 50. And they are scoring well. That was off a great tackle, but they're just getting hosed down that end of the ground. And yeah, there's danger signs because Brisbane have averaged 77 points at the Gabba this year, which is 2 goals down on last year. They're already at 44.
But the crowd is
looking
up
scary
and into it. Geez, that helps as a player.
And let's have a listen to them. The way they're going about it now, the crowd, they are loving this. From the centre bounce, Wilmot knocked off it, picked up by Burne-Jones. He lobs it inside 50. The mark taken by Harris Andrews, doing what Harris Andrews does, laconically presenting and taking a chest mark in the middle of the pack. Now he flares it out to left half back for Brisbane. Hits Berry on the chest in front of his opposite number 7 in Burgoyne. He's
free kick. And
now it's going to be a free kick down the field. Logan Morris has been held up by Lockie Jones about 20 metres forward of the centre circles. So Logan Morris has got the ball now. It's been transferred down to him. The Lions have got them a little rattled now. They were in front by 11 points 10 minutes ago, Port. They trail by 4 goals now. That was an absolute mung. It was like me off the second tee. Acker, it was a shocker off the side of Logan Morris's boot. It just skids over the Gabba turf. It's going to be a throw in 45 out.
I've seen Ruckman kick better than that. That is outrageous.
You are cheeky, Jason. We know that. You're sitting next to a bloke that's about 4 weight categories above you in Matt Primer saying that type of stuff.
About to get clocked, mate. You might lose accurate quarter time.
Again, I have been hit by Matty. He doesn't remember.
See,
I remember.
When it's Port versus Brisbane and you get these two, it doesn't matter that it's 20-odd years on. Nah, it's the same old juices that get flowing. Another stoppage with Brisbane in attack. Plenty willing, none really able to get clear of it. Drew makes a tackle on McCluggage.
I still have the lump behind my ear where Matty Primer.
Was it Josh Carr that got you?
No, he never got me. I was too quick, but Matty
fought with the tap. And Bailey's tackled by Bergman. Oh, Scott a hand pass to Ashcroft. Goes for goal from the pocket. It was going through, if not for the touch of Zerk Thatcher on the line.
Hugh, I just saw that the TVs went to the bench. Radigali has come off and getting attention from the dock, and Visitini's been ruled out, so they can't afford to lose Radigali early in the game.
Yeah, Jackson's in already.
They're out of here.
So the sub's been activated for Port. They were out. Now Port had taken the ball all the way down to right half forward. There was a free kick given behind the play. Again, I think it was Lockie Jones.
Running too far. He did not run too far.
I don't
let that go.
I just missed. I didn't think that was the case. So there you go.
It's the travel.
It's in the hands of Brandon Starcevich on the logo, Vulture Street side. He chips it forward to Zorko. Zorko, long kick to the pocket. Logan Morris at the back. Couldn't quite take it. It's fisted towards the boundary line. It's going to be a throw in the left forward pocket for Brisbane.
It's an ankle for Vicentini, officially out of the game. So an ankle injury for Dante Vicentini out of the game, even though it was his knee that was heavily strapped. So
that's fun.
That is a blow for Port Adelaide. Hugh Jackson subbed in the first quarter of the game.
Throw in.
It sounds like an actor.
30 metres out from the Brisbane goal. Thrown in. Ashcroft, the handball. Tried to flick it back. Charlie Cameron imposed himself, gathered, tackled off the ball. It's extracted by Port. It's kicked out of the 50. Picked up by Zorko. He kicks it towards the goal square. It was Hipwood. He was touched. He was grabbed down. Hipwood's going to get the free kick. 20 metres out from goal. He had 2 opponents, and I reckon both of them were holding his jumper.
Didn't need to do that, Matty.
That was panic. Blind panic.
Yeah, panic, you're right, Pricey.
That's pressure and panic, and I think Kenny would be like, fellas, there's 2 of you there.
Here's the tail of the tape. The Power kicked the first 2 goals. Lions responded with 1. Power got 1. And then the Lions have kicked 6 goals, 1 since.
Like a machine gun. Bang, 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 and is this another one?
Eric Hipwood from 20 metres out, the left footer. Comes in and slots it.
The Lions have got 8 first-term goals. 8-3-51. They're now 31 points in front of Port Adelaide. 3-2-20 late in the first quarter.
Tell you, I did say Eric loves playing. You know, some teams you just play well against. Eric, for some reason, he has not been kicking a lot the last few weeks, can I say. That said, he's had a lot of contributors that have helped and a lot of other players stepping up and kicking goals. But yeah, for some reason, he always kicks a bag.
I think the Zerk Thatcher matchup is what's hurting Port. The other two are right. And if Radagalee's out, then Zerk Thatcher's got to play the second tall.
Radagale looks okay on the bench, by the way. He's sitting still with the rest of the Port Adelaide guys there. So repeating, Visentini subbed out with an ankle injury. Jackson's into the game and just on Hipwood. So that's now 22 goals for the year. He kicked 33 last year, 41 the year before. So he's tracking about...
Yeah, without Danaher in the team.
Yeah, regular. Yeah. We expected that there'd be more because of the absence of Danaher, but it hasn't been the case. Oh, Ashcroft, that's Will with the clearance at the centre bounce. Hands to Wilmot. Another kick to 50. Charlie Cameron's marked it again. Brisbane's... They are just going downhill at the moment, the Lions. Cameron's marked it, man on the mark, those 50 from goal.
It's under a minute here. You should get it in quick, but no.
Kicks to the pocket. A very smart kick on the head of Dunkley. Brave spoiled by Aaliyah, who's hurt in back play. Play goes on. Ball on the deck in the front of the goal mouth. McCluggage tries a hand pass to no great effect. Neil picks it up, hands it to a fumbling Hipwood. It's on the deck. Drew picks up for Port Adelaide at fullback, and they'll get out. Sweet. Hand passes to Farrell, and Farrell's kick is a 70-metre gainer, and I'll be happy to give the free kick away for insufficient. They just needed to get out of there. Lions quickly kick it in field. Andrews marks near the wing. Kicks to half forward. Wilmot takes the grab. He looks to the bench and says, go, go, go. So he does. 60 out. Chip to full forward. Off hands through for a point, and that'll probably be the last score of this unbelievably frenetic first term.
That's a 36-minute first quarter. 36 minutes.
8-4-52.
It is too.
Plays 3-2-20. Yep, there's a couple of seconds left, gentlemen, so let's just take a moment.
Take a breath. The crowd needs to take a breath. They've been singing.
There we go. What a quarter. Well, we said before the game, we thought, well, let's see what Port have got in the first 10 minutes, because that's generally a good indication. They were brilliant in the first 10 minutes. But that being said, they probably dared the Lions to play freewheeling footy with them. And you know what the Premier said? We've had a bye. We're at home. We'll take that. And what did they do? Kicked 8 of the next 9 goals in the game. So as Michael spoke about, it was the first 2 goals to Port. Make it 3 of the first 4. So Port kicked 3 of the first 4 goals, and then Brisbane kicked 8 of the next 9, or 8 of 9. In an amazing sequence where, as Pricey said, scores were level at the 24-minute mark of that quarter. But Brisbane still powered on another 5 goals in red time. It's Brisbane 8 goals for 52 to Port Adelaide's 3-2-20. Cameron kicked 2 goals. Bailey has 2 goals. And single goals for Archie, McCluggage, Will Ashcroft and Hipwood. While for Port Adelaide, Rioli, Georgiades and Powell Pepper are the goal kickers. It's quarter time at Docklands as well. Such was the nature of the long quarter here. They started 10 minutes after us, and I think got to quarter time almost before us.
Oh, man.
So Acker's called it already, hasn't he?
At quarter time, it's Hawthorn leading by 9 points
How
there.
did that happen? Was that because of all the goals?
All the goals, yep. Earlier today, Geelong by 72 over Richmond, and Gold Coast by 41 over Essendon. It was tied at three-quarter time, but the Suns kicked 6 unanswered goals in the final quarter to win that game. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Don't miss a minute of the action. Live from Wimbledon. On now.
Take it with you on the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Darcy Fort fists it away, then it rebounds back into his arms. He can't quite hold it. Butters got there, couldn't take it with him. Very scrappy, picked up by Rioli. He doesn't miss from 15. He does not miss from 15, Willie Rioli.
Hands it to Hipwood, hands it back to Bailey. Runs the bullseye, kicks inside 50. Charles Cameron marks, plays on, and says, John Denver, get into it early. Sweets in the ruck at the moment against Day. Bailey rides the pack in the right forward pocket, dribbles on goal, and gets a bounce which leaps over the left arm of Valia. What a fortunate turn of events for Zach Bailey in Brisbane.
To Neil into the corridor, down to the runner Darcy Wilmot, little 9-iron, chips it there too, Bailey spoiled, picked up by Lohman, flicked it over his head, went to Archie goes bang! Oh, Harlem Globetrotter stuff from the Brisbane Lions, that is magnificent.
Archie has it spoiled away by Bergman, still a Lions ball, crumped by McCluggage, 2 steps, shoots, another goal for Brisbane.
By Jones, but he got tackled, let it loose, Will Ashcroft from 40, that's another one. That is 6 in the first term for Brisbane.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio,
ABC Sport Digital,
and on the ABC Listen app.
Well, talk about entertainment, particularly from a Brisbane point of view in the first quarter. Welcome back to the Gabba. My name's Quentin Hull. It's Saturday night football on ABC Sport, and we saw 11 goals kicked in the first quarter, 8 of them by the Brisbane Lions. The reigning champs have a 32-point lead at quarter time. Brisbane 8-4-52 to Port's 3-2-20. Other headlines out of the first quarter. Dante Vicentini out of the game with an ankle injury. Hugh Jackson has been subbed in, and there's a watch on Asava Radagalia as well, the key defender for the Power, receiving some extended treatment on the bench in the first term. Just repeating at Docklands, a low-scoring first quarter there. Hawthorn with a 9-point lead over St Kilda. You can hear that game on the ABC Listen app. Look for the AFL button. Meanwhile, around the grounds, the British and Irish Lions tour of Australia continues. The Listen app is where you can hear all of that. Also, you can hear the Wallabies Fiji test tomorrow on the Sports Extra button on the Listen app. But tonight, the Lions are playing the New South Wales Waratahs. 13 minutes in, British and Irish Lions 7, lead the Tars 0. And in the NRL, there are 2 games this evening. Of course, Wednesday, State of Origin decider in Sydney. Listen app is where you can hear all of the action there on the green button. Earlier, the Raiders beat St George Illawarra 28-24. Getting close to half-time in Townsville, the Storm 12 lead the Cowboys 6. Gentlemen, what did we see in the 35 minutes of football there?
We saw a lot, didn't we? A lot of goals, and what we saw was Brisbane's inside 50 efficiency, 75% going inside 50, which is, you go at 40, 43%.
They want 42. They want 42%. Around that, that's what they want.
They're going at 75, which is scary. Obviously, that'll probably regress a little bit, but there's just a lot of ball coming in with not a huge amount of pressure, and then their forwards are just dominating Port Adelaide's backs, 1-on-1, 2-on-2, and then their mids are getting involved in a lot of shots on goal. So there's a bit of work to do for Port when they lose a contest or a clearance or even when the ball's flowing full length of the ground. They've got to try and shut them down and put more heat on. Can't just be tackle pressure inside the bubble, which they were good at for the first 6 or 7 minutes.
Well, they're going to have moments like that. They could create momentum. They were fantastic early, but the Lions' pressure was a little bit off. That said, when they're winning the ball, Port, they're going to be able to be very good, as they are, like all Aussie Rules AFL teams. The Lions, though, when they just wound up the heat, not only did they wind up the heat, and they were clean, they were efficient, they went forward, and then, as you said, their shots on goals were amazing.
McCluggage 12 possessions, Zorko 10, Bailey 10. That's the top 3 for Brisbane. For Port, Bergman, Farrell and Boak all had 7. Brisbane in the end, Michael, they had 33 more disposals, 112-79 in the inside 50s. Port's way, though, +5.
Well, they've won the first clearance here. It was Horn Francis, got it out there to Burgoyne. Burgoyne back into the middle. Oh, he put Butters under enormous pressure. He was scragged after he got rid of the ball. Now Lockie Jones from inside the centre square has a long-range ping. Oh, that is a thing of beauty. His teammate has gone for the mark on the line. Georgiades dropped the mark. It's a rush behind that would have been a goal.
Oh, that kills you.
52 plays 21, 31-point margin.
He could have let it go, Pricey, and it would have been a goal, and then he dropped the sitter. Anyway, he was uncontested. Oh, man. He'll be thinking about that for the next week.
Brisbane sharing it with the short kick in.
I tell you what, there's been a change queue early. They're nearly gone for a kick to handball, Brisbane, in the first quarter. So it looks like they're trying to play fast against Port Adelaide rather than hang on to the ball like you just mentioned.
Ainsworth, long kick to the wing, and Morris got up. That was the U and the R. No mark. Sweet does the roving for Port. Ineffective hand pass, rumbles to the boundary line. Dunkley picks up for Brisbane. Hands it to Zorko. Rushed kick around his body. Morris can't keep it in under pressure from Rosie. Out of play for a throw in.
Yeah, he could just tap that on there, Logan Morris. He had a runner in Levi Ashcroft.
I was wondering why Connor Rosie was there, but of course that switch to half back has been such a good move for him. Whether he's going to have to be more accountable on a guy like Morris is interesting. Boundary throw in. Sweet clear tap. Again, no rover for Port. Ricochet's out the back though. Burgoyne has it. Hands it to Lockie Jones. Poor handball set to Tasker. Farrell picks it up. Give the problem back to Jones. Hands it to Rosie. Oh, he mishit his knuckle with the hand pass to Alir. Had to pick it up off the deck. He hands it out the back. It's a Medicare hand pass. Farrell's tackled. Bergman's tackled. Brisbane swarming over Port. Free kick at right half forward. Any fumble is pounced upon by the Lions, and Charlie Cameron will take the kick. 60 from goal, kick into the corridor. Great intercept marked by Horne-Francis, going back in front of the leading Morris.
He read that beautifully. He kicked it to Powell Pepper.
Too slow, Price. He had 2 one-on-ones there, and he took an extra 5 seconds, allowed him to get back that Horne-Francis. A great mark, don't get me wrong.
So Powell Pepper back into Zirk Thatcher. 4 hyphens playing for Port Adelaide tonight, I might say.
It was like watching, remember back in the day, like you watch Family Ties and all that. Everyone back then have a hyphen name.
When you work across codes, Jason, I said to Pricey, you can have your 4 Port. I'll give you 7 in the Warriors team in the NRL I called a couple of weeks ago.
7.
Oh dear. Goodness. The ball's loose in the corridor. Archie did beautifully. Tapped it to the path of Lockie Neal. He kicks a mongrel towards the forward pocket. Looking for Logan Morris. He tried valiantly to keep it in, but just fumbled it over the boundary line. We're going to throw in the left forward pocket.
So it's Powell, Pepper, Horne-Francis, Zirk Thatcher, and
Burn Jones.
Oh. But when I had Nickel Klukstar, Harris Tavita, Roger Tuivasa, Fisher Harris, you know what it's that was a record though, by the way, in the NRL. They had 7 of them. But 4 double barrels tonight for Port, which might be an AFL record. Yeah. Who knows? Boundary throwing. In defence for Port. Powell Pepper, there he is on cue. Got the hand pass to Richards at half-back, gives it back to SPP. Hands it on to a guy with 2 names, the same, Alir. He kicks it towards the wing. Lockie Jones fumbles it out of play. Get me out of this one, please, Michael. Boundary throw in. We're playing the name game here. How about I give you the score? Brisbane 8-4-52. Port 3-3-21. 31 the lead to the reigning champs. Early second term at Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
Here's the throw in. Darcy Fort versus Sweet, the former dog. Jordan got it and handballed it away. It was taken by Lockie Neal. Immediately tackled into the ground. So we'll have a ball up in a very similar spot.
I did a luncheon with a go with a hyphen, but he had 3 first names.
There you go. Well, you'll have to explain that one away. Drew through traffic. The handball put his teammate under pressure, enormous pressure. It was well done by Answorth, who read it well and punished Butters. He ended up going back and getting the ball. Rosie's got it now. Long kick towards centre half forward. Georgiades spoiled by Leicester. It's towed off the deck towards Rosie. Then McCluggage gathers, gives it to Dunkley. Dunkley by hand to the run of Levi Ashcroft. Traverses the 50 to the goal square. Archie spoiled. Nice work there.
What was that?
That was taken over the boundary, taken over the goal line. 4 behind. It was good spoil by Lockie Jones in the end. 52 plays, 53 plays 21, so it is actually a 32-point margin in favour of the Lions now.
Burn Jones, not Lockie Jones?
Yes.
So William Drew's gone to McCluggage now, and Bergen's had to go to half-back with Radaglia still off, so they've dropped that tag and put Bergen back to half-back.
Barrels inbound, unable to be marked by Powell Pepper near the boundary D50. Day picks up for Brisbane. Hand passes to Rayner, 60 from goal, kick to the pocket. Neil lost his footing, nearly took a one-handed mark with one leg on the ground. Burgoyne picks up for Port, hands it to Farrell, hands it on to Richards, clearing kick from the pocket, looking for Sweet, fisted away by Fort, out of play for a throw-in at right half forward for Brisbane, left half back for Port Adelaide. Early stages, second term on a gorgeous Saturday night for football at the Gabba. Brisbane 8-5-53, lead Port 3-3-21.
Starting to get a little dewy too. You see the players losing their feet.
Sets the throw in across half back for Port. Well done by Powell Pepper getting involved. He did the 1-2-3. Got the handball away, gave it to Butters, shrugs the tackle of Charlie Cameron straight down the middle of Horne-Francis. He gives it to the runner now. It's Sim. Sim kicks it long towards the forward pocket, going back. Couldn't quite take the mark. Georgiades going back with the flight. And he fumbles it over the boundary line. It's going to be a throw in the right forward pocket. He's been in rare form, Mitch Georgiades, but he's dropped a couple of sitters in the last 5 minutes.
Super sitters. And as the game goes on, though, Matty, it does get slippery here.
It does, yeah. Cool air, cool night.
Cool night, bit of juice.
Better movement by Port. Handball overlap. That'll ask more questions of Brisbane's defence.
Way better.
Port in attack. Sweet with the tap from the boundary throw in. Drew Robe shrugged off it immediately by McCluggage. And the umpire will come in as it was neutralised under that tackle.
Bit of intensity of Port. Just needs to pick up a bit, I reckon.
Sweet with again the tap, but rode by Neil of Brisbane. Hands to Bailey, hands it on to McCluggage. They clear from fullback. McCluggage's kick intercepted by Bergman. Couldn't mark though. Rayner with the crumb for Brisbane. Hands it to Archie off the step. Bangs a deep ball from half back to half forward. Out in front of Morris. Uses his body to get rid of Byrne-Jones. Byrne-Jones persists. No, it's not Byrne-Jones. It's Zirk Thatcher. It's the other of the hyphens. And Morris is dragged down without the ball. Zirk Thatcher's given away the free kick.
Yeah, if Radagali is out, that matchup's going to hurt them. He just doesn't have the power or strength to go with those two other big boys down there, Zirk Thatcher.
And if the hyphens and your Burn-Joneses and Joneses aren't enough, Zirk Thatcher's now got a little mo that looks exactly like Darcy Byrne-Jones. That's my excuse for making that mistake. Morris from 60 out, kicks to full forward, and a juggling mark in the pack has been taken by Dunkley. Wow.
They've kicked to him a few times and he's had a couple of jumps and he hasn't quite got on cue, and he is bigger than you think and he's got presence and he can mark that boy. Not sure about the goal kicking.
Josh Dunkley, that was and that had a bit of his old man about it at the other end of the field. Andrew Dunkley could take a mark or two.
He's a specimen if you've ever seen him up live, a bit like you, Manny.
Right in front, Josh Dunkley. 30 out, kicks the goal. His first, and now Brisbane has kicked the last 6 goals in the game. With scores level 24 minutes into the first quarter, we are 8 minutes into the second, and Brisbane lead by 38 points at 9-5, 59 to 3-3, 21. At Docklands, second term, Hawthorn 2-6, 18 leads St Kilda 1-3-9. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Here's Matt Primus and Jason Ackermanis.
There's no one down there because they're on holidays. That looks sparse for that crowd. But you're not up here. It's packed because everyone's on holidays and they're still here and they're still get up here for the warmth, Matty. But what a jump!
And why wouldn't you want to come and watch it? This is Brisbane at their best, isn't it? Yeah. They're bending well, but then just exploding. Everyone getting involved in offence and the ball movement. It is fantastic to watch, and Port look a bit helpless to be able to know how to stop them because they can't get scoring at their end.
So young Vicentini already subbed out. Hugh Jackson is being put in, and Radagalia hasn't reappeared on the bench, so they've only got 3 on the pine. Port Adelaide, they slap it forward. It's taken by Boak. He's held up, another ball up.
What is it with Brownland medalists rucking? Cripps has done it for Carlton. Ollie Wines is in the ruck now.
He's a big boy. He's 193.
He's a huge unit.
Huge man.
It goes backwards out of that contest to Rosie. He hoiks it forward. Starcevic versus Pal Pepper. There's a couple of strong blokes. It hits the deck predictably. Boak, handball to Wines, gives it off to Butters. Butters from inside the centre square to the top of the square. It was a good wrestle there. It was Lukosius against Harris Andrews. Wasn't a great wrestle because a free kick will go to Jack Lukosius. Only about 15 metres out. He's a slight angle to the left.
There's been a couple of touch wood ones for both teams, but that was there, don't get me wrong. Lukosius, obviously, he'd be missing the sunshine.
First game back. Quite a fair time out, I think.
Just listening to Kenny Hinkley talk about it after the game against Carlton last week, and that he could have played, but they just wanted to give him an extra week. Here he is, Jack Lukosius, plays on, hooks it around the corner, Port goal. So they get their 4th. And the margin has been taken back to 32 points in favour of Brisbane after 10 minutes of this second term.
When did they kick their 3rd?
They kicked their 3rd goal at the 13-minute mark of the first quarter.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a bit of a
So almost a quarter. We're at, 10.5 second term?
Yeah, that was a free kick. Lukosius, good goal. That said, a bit better ball movement there, Matty. They're starting to get a bit cleaner.
Oh, a bit cleaner getting some one-on-ones. It's still 24 to 21 inside 50s Port's way, but just shows you the golf and the way the ball's coming down in talent in their forward 50s at either end.
Vicentini subbed out with the ankle injury if you're late to join us.
Lions are kicking it from everywhere too. That doesn't last, but I mean they have had some stinkers too.
There's not much grey area with Brisbane in that. They either miss them all or kick them all, it seems, Jace, in that way.
I think
they've been on tonight.
Yeah, the crowd's just a bit quiet. They're probably going to get a drink, so they should.
Centre bounce, Fort beats Wines for the tap. Great service down to Rayner. Hand pass to Dunkley. Kick smothered by Drew. Defensive side of the pack for Brisbane. Follows up Drew but gives away a free kick. High contact on Rayner. So Rayner will get the free kick for Brisbane at centre half back. Kicks the ball to Andrews, who gallops to the members' wing. Presents to Mark. Takes 2 steps. Booms it to half forward. Great spoil from Zirk Thatcher to punch the ball away from Hipwood. Out of play for a boundary throw in.
Margaret.
Brisbane at right half forward, leading by 32 points.
You wonder what they're doing with Radical. Like, either rule him out or get him back out there and see how it goes, don't you?
Yeah, you don't want to get cold sitting on the bench.
Well, he's not appearing.
Not even on the bench.
No, he's back down in the rooms as this contest happens and hacked out of there by Travis Boak towards the wing. It was Lukosius spoiled there by Harris Andrews. It was Jared Berry tackled by Burgoyne, gave away the free kick and Burgoyne didn't like it. Berry kicks it inside 50 and there's Bergman. He comprehensively beat Zach Bailey there.
Too strong there.
Very well done, and he chips it forward. That's a half kick. He made it difficult for Butters. It did well though. Berry fell over, so made it easier for Butters. He gave it to Burgoyne, chipped it to the wing and found Travis Boak, the veteran.
Kicks it to half forward where Lukosius presents in space. 70 from goal takes the mark, Jack Lukosius. Plays on with his right boot. Long, deep entry for Port Adelaide. Giardi's has 2 to beat. Brings it to ground though. Richards, the rover, couldn't pick up. Stolen by Levi Ashcroft to Brisbane in the back pocket. Hands it to Zorko. Rolling kick to half back. Lohman gathers and is tackled brilliantly by Sin. Grabbed one arm, the other had the footy. No way that Lohman could beat that. Singh plays on quickly, 50 out to Horn Francis, doesn't go for goal, kicks it across to a central position. Boak marks, kicks wide, and the grab's taken by Burgoyne. I reckon they're probably 10 metres closer to the sticks on the other side, and then Burgoyne tries a cute pass to the pocket, which didn't get over Darcy Fort's head.
This is what I was about to say. He's having a great game, as he does.
Yeah, he was looking for Powell, Pepper, Jace, but didn't kick it high enough, and Fort intercepts. Brisbane now switch it clear. Answorth in the left back pocket.
That's a long kick towards the wing, and McCluggage yet again. If he's not All-Australian this year, I'll eat my hat and various other things. He puts it into the corridor. Rayner with a great contested mark. Handball to Lohman. Lohman chips it over the top. Wasn't good enough. It was around the ankles of Logan Morris and the pressure was there. Now Port have it through Boak. He's been called to play on. Everybody thinks he's taken the mark. He hasn't. He chips it forward and Bergman gets... No, it wasn't Bergman. Who was that? It was actually Drew. Got absolutely poleaxed, and it was naughty little Dane Zorko who did that, so he'd get a free kick at right half back.
Of that intensity.
And again, just on that last play, Lohman's just a guy struggling for his confidence at the moment.
No, he was a good kick. It was on. He should have just gone for it.
Yeah, well, that was what I was saying, Joe.
Selfless, some would say.
Sometimes you got to know when to go for goal. And if you tie Lohman on the run, 45 out with no pressure, that's green light, isn't it?
You've got to know when to hold him.
Yeah, and he went for the pass instead. It didn't come off. Port holding possession at right half back, trying to just stem the momentum in this game. Brisbane lead by 32 points. Wines has the ball. Short pass around the wing. Doesn't even get to the wing, but still. Short thereof, Butters takes the mark between right half back and said halfway point on the ground. Kick towards the wing. Palpepper the target. McCluggage the spoil. Ball on the deck. Fletcher rose for Brisbane and almost weaved his way from Wines, but ran over the boundary line on the outer side. Throw in. It's Brisbane 9-5, 59. Port 4-3-27. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. 15 minutes into the second term. Here's Michael Price.
And Radical Leo.
Sorry, Price, are you happy with those matchups, Matty Promise?
Well, they haven't got too much else to do down there. I see Radical is on the champion data. He's on black now. What's that mean?
That means he's out.
He's out.
He's finished for the day. Back into the middle. Rayner steals the ball. Handball to Bailey. He goes mini, takes off, pushes one away. Has a ping from 55. Have a go at that. Touched on the line. What a brilliant goalkeeping effort from Zirk Thatcher. Got back and one rushed behind. It's not going to be any easier for Port. 60-27 now. It is a 33-point margin, 15 and a half gone. So that's both Vicentini and Radigalia both out. They've got 3 on the bench, Port.
Sin with a short kick in, and Farrell takes the grab in the right back pocket.
Nothing wrong with anything that's happening, except they haven't got the manpower to keep that freshness. But it doesn't really matter if they're winning the ball many points.
Long kick to the wing. Georgiadis has come very high to try and take a grab. Can't. Spalls it down to Powell Pepper though. Roves hands it to Wines on the wing. Hands to Richard. Hands back to Powell Pepper. Tried the don't argue. Got taken by Dunkley. You shouldn't argue with him. Ball still in Port's hands though. Yeah. Rioli 50 from goal. Brilliant centering kick. He was hard on the boundary. Squares it up for Sweet. And the intended target and marker is also a description of the pass.
He's a big man.
It was Sweet.
I like it. Was you. Very good, mate.
No, Sweet. What about the vision?
What about the shot on goal? How's that going to be?
Well, your tattoo says, dude.
Could go anywhere. Make reasonable choices. This is a big fun, but I like the vision and the kick. It
was a great kick from Rioli. Squaring ball. About 30 metres infield. Jordan Sweet needs to kick this goal for Port Adelaide. Kicked a couple already this year. To the booze of the Gabba faithful. Right foot kick. He's missed it. Not by much, but enough. It's a behind. Brisbane by 32 points at 9-6-60 to 4-4-28 at Docklands. Hawthorn 3-6-24 to St Kilda 2-5-17.
Fletcher brings it back in. Jared Berry takes the mark. He's at right half back or just short of and chips it just outside defensive 50 to find Jasper Fletcher, who's better than both Ashcrofts combined, according to Jason Ackerman.
I said coming up, not yet. Not coming, my friend.
But will be, okay,
yes.
fair enough.
Shocking kick.
That's a floating mongrel there from Darcy Wilmot, but it will work out. It bounces into the arms of Lohman. Handball back to Berry. He loops it over to Rayner. Rayner from 45. Just under a little bit of pressure. He's pulled it left, one behind, 61 plays 28. Back to 33 points with nearly 18 gone second term. ABC Sport on a Saturday night.
Quentin Hull, Michael Price, Jason Ackermanis and Matt Primus with you. And
so much action in that first quarter. This just seems like such a disappointment.
Well,
but it's coming.
I would go with the term contrast rather than disappointment, Jason.
That's why you get paid the big bucks.
Rosie runs to the pocket with the inbound. Long kick to the wing on the head of Georgiadis. Roves his own crumb. Gets tackled and whistle. Free kick to Georgiadis. He's got slung after he got rid of it. Starcevic, the offender.
What, me? Yeah, my grasping of the English language compared to yours, Q, is enormous.
Yeah, but you've got 3 more premierships and 1 more Brownlow medal than I do, so that's why you've got your job and I've got mine.
You got injured just walking up here. So that's all right.
Georgiadis kicks the right half forward. It's out of play on the bounce. There's a fair bit of love and frivolity in the box tonight, Michael. Are you feeling it?
I am feeling it. I'm
feeling some. We haven't even gone after Pricey yet.
No, don't worry. There's plenty to aim at. Don't worry. Throw in. We get Sweet versus Day. I'll give it a Sweet. He slaps it into the path of Wines, tackled off it. Lockie Neal pushed in the back. No, umpire says fair enough tackle from Willem Drew, and he'll come in and ball it up. Almost on the point of the centre square, right half forward for Port. Sweet gets it down. Neal feigning for the free kick, nothing doing. Getting a bit scrappy around the contest. Beautifully picked up by Fletcher. Looping handball to McLuggage, who just checks his run and then centralises the ball to Cameron. The run of Neal inside 50. Well done, Bergman. Read it well. Couldn't take the mark. Aaliyah front and square. Handball back to Sin. Sin beautifully delivered to right half back and finds his teammate in Butters.
Oh, they're holding on here, Port. They were out, Brisbane. They had numbers on. They had to do that last kick in just to keep a little bit clean and make that kick, but no.
Powell Pepper receives the pass, kicks to halfway. Burn-Jones marks, hands it back to Powell Pepper, hands it to Wines. Powell run it to half forward, given to
Sweet.
Butters, then to Sweet, then to Boak. Kick inside 50, Powell Pepper, third involvement. It's a mark. He was there at the start of it at half-back, Matt, and now he's 40 from goal, taking the grab.
Yeah, their little handball chains have looked dangerous when they've been able to get them going. The forward handball, the overlap, Brisbane are a little bit off with that, and it's given them some good looks inside 50. They've just got to make them pay with a set shot on goal and make sure they kick it, unlike Sweet did last time.
Maybe, like you said, less kicking, more handballing, and that breaks it up, and they look a little bit sharper, and their ball use is a bit better, and they're getting shots on goal.
Hard way to play, though, isn't it?
It is. A lot of energy, but it gasses the opposition.
Man on the mark, 40 metres out, slightly to the right for Powell Pepper. Brilliant right foot drop punt. Number 2 has 2 for Port Adelaide, and the Power have got the last couple of goals in the game, which is important because it just seemed like Brisbane was getting away That elastic band just pulled in a little bit. 27 points the margin to the reigning premier. Brisbane 9-7-61. Port Adelaide 5-4-34. Sam Powell-Pepper now up to 18 goals for the year.
Yeah, he's starting to build them up as he does. He always seems he loves the big goals. But can I say, I spoke to Pricey before and in the break and said, this Brisbane Lions group at the moment, when they're getting a lead like this, they haven't been able to go on, home or away, haven't been able to just put teams not just away. Like they have got them on the back foot, right on the back foot. Now they need to hammer them and keep scoring 5 and 6 goals a quarter. They're just not, that intensity drops off. That's the problem I have with them at the moment this year.
Yeah, kept them to 1 goal so far, Port, but they were able to do that in the first half of the first quarter too, weren't they? We'll see how they go in the second half of this quarter.
It was at Wines put himself in, Horn Francis as well. Taken out of the middle there by Neil, kicked it in the day direction. Well spoiled, Lockie Jones, well roved by Burgoyne. He goes laterally back into the corridor to find Sweet, who's just forward of centre-half back. He chips it forward. That is a very well-weighted kick. For a ruckman to Horn Francis. Equally, and then a midfielder / runner does, half as good a job as the ruckman did.
It was out by 20.
And so Harris Andrews takes a defensive mark.
Just give it to the rucks.
Give it to the rucks. He would have hit that, but he had Harris Andrews gone.
Andrews to Berry to Neil. Chip mark, but still at centre-half back. Neil's kick to the edge of the centre square. Wilmot takes the grab. He's still defensive side of halfway, though. Kicks it back to where it came. Neil, centre-half back for Brisbane. Marks and kicks wide to Hipwood. Just forward of left half-back, Eric Hipwood. Uncontested mark. Now a low, deep paw kick. Straight to Boak at right half-back for Port. Marks plays on. Hand passes to Butters. Kicks a mung around the edge of the centre square. Burne-Jones picks up, though, for the power. Hand pass given to Richards, was it? Yep. Jackson, the sub. And he kicks it to the goal mouth where Georgiades takes the mark.
And Georgiades gets out. He'll kick this. And Brisbane's, this is what I don't like. They play this chip mark game. They don't need to do it because you turn it over with a horrible kick, and this is what happens.
Very deep in the goal mouth. Easy finish for Georgiades on the right foot snap. 2 goals for Mitch Georgiades. Now up to 40 for the year. Power have kicked the last 3. They were 38 down 10 minutes into the quarter. 13 minutes later, 23 and a half played. Now the margin is 21. Brisbane 9-7-61 to Port 6-4-40.
What about that on the replay? Starcevic just got really well. He's pretty high. He could, back in our day, that's nothing. That's just whatever. Now they probably get a $10,000 fine. But Brisbane going out the open side, just trying to play this kick mark, no good. They were out this side. They had players on. They were so out it wasn't funny. And this is what they do, and they got to fix this and stop it. The guys sitting up there getting paid to look like we do at the game. We can see it. Great height. They just can't let the Lions just do this. It's not working, man. Sorry, I just get on.
No, it's not. And I reckon their pressure's dropped off too, the Lions. The Port are just kicking the ball a lot better than what they did in the first quarter too, and that's given them good looks inside 50.
Yeah, it's a great call, Matty. They were operating at 51% kicking efficiency in that first term, Port. They've cleaned that up, and they're now at 67. They win this clearance as well. It gets out to the outer wing. Chip forward there from Drew, and it hits Horn Francis. He's 80 from goal. Just
have a shot.
He might as well have a ping. If it was you, Aki, you probably would, I reckon. He kicks it into the pocket, right half forward to find Butters.
Never bad.
Kicking percentage second term, 82% efficient for Port, 58 for Brisbane.
Well, they've swapped sides. Basically, the scoring end. It's kicked towards the pocket. Harris Andrews flies above the pack, kills the contest, and puts it over the boundary line. So the school end that Port are kicking to now, that's the scoring end so far, 72 points to 29.
Down that end?
Yeah.
It's a big breeze going down there.
There is no breeze.
We have no one on the boundary tonight, but I can tell you there is no breeze down there. It's a perfect night. A little bit chilly.
That's excellent maths from you, Michael. Boundary throw in. Sweet with the tap. Back towards the boundary. Taken by Levi Ashcroft, though, of Brisbane. Hands it to Rayner. Under pressure, a dumped clearing kick on the head of Lohman, spoiled by Alier. Picked up on the boundary by Bailey of Brisbane. Rushed off his kick. Alier intercepts for Port, 60 from goal. Hand to Burne-Jones. Hand pass semi-smothered. Goes in to try and clean up his own mess. Can't pick up. Will Ashcroft does for Brisbane. Hand pass to Rayner. Again, a dumped clearing kick into the one-on-one cage fight. It's Cameron against Sin. And Sin gets a free kick. Charlie grabbed his arm.
Did well in the
before the ball got there.
Did very well, but Charlie just lost sight of the ball. He's got to be a bit smarter in his positioning and keep his eye on the ball.
So Josh then, long kick down the line. Andrews again sat on Mitch Georgiades' shoulders and fisted it over the boundary line comprehensively. We'll get a throw in between centre wing and right half forward for Port. Only trailing by 21 points now. This has been a good quarter.
And let him in the contest here. Late, this is red time. This is where Port doesn't want Brisbane to kick a couple of goals.
Throw in. Fort versus Sweet. Fort got it down. It was Dunkley who missed the ball, picked up by Horn Francis. He handballed it forward to Drew, to Powell Pepper. Powell Pepper get to Richards. Richards pressured by Zorko. He couldn't pick it up. And then Harris Andrews picked it up. Great tackle.
Good
was that
pressure.
Darcy Byrne-Jones? Yes, another hyphen. Tackled Harris Andrews. Crept up behind him and holding the ball. So it'll be a goal scoring opportunity for Port Adelaide. 27 gone in this second term.
Intensity, Matty.
Yeah, great intensity.
Unbelievable.
Forward handball again that got them inside 50. That's definitely been a feature of the game and they're kicking. But yeah, great pressure and chase down.
Again, winning that ball in the contest.
He's been a very good goal kicker for Port this year. 16 goals, 7 for Darcy Byrne-Jones. From 45, he leans back on it. He's pushed it to the left. Commentator's curse strikes again. One behind.
Oh, you're not that powerful.
I've got the gift. 61 to 41. It is a 20-point margin.
And a really important little period before half-time for Port. They've worked their way somewhat back into the contest. Short kick in. Zorko marks. Takes a moment or two before playing on with a long kick to the wing. Harris Andrews is there to juggle it just before the boundary line. He takes the grab.
I think that's is that Logan?
No, it's Harris Andrews out there.
I'm glad you've got the binoculars.
Yep. He's at left half back, the co-captain. Kicks it around the boundary line. Archie takes the mark for Brisbane. Drew stands the mark.
You can't tell you've got lines in the background with the same colours.
That's really why we're paid to do it. Cal Archie kicks to half foot on the head of McCluggage as it punched away from him. Ball rolls to the pocket. Lockie Jones is there, in fact, to do the tackling. Wraps up McCluggage. Ball up. Jason Ackermanis and Matt Primus with yours truly, Quentin Hull and Michael Price.
I just laugh on the bench that the two stewards are holding up the 1 minute sign.
Yeah, well,
now they've got the 30 second sign.
1 out of 2, 1 out of 3. I'm like, what is it? It's half. It was 2:30 minutes to go. Right.
The modern game, eh?
You couldn't do it, man. Just Sheedy. I tell you every time, Sheedy got banned.
See that, and that's when Michael just sort of gives me the end of the quarter to
sorry.
So we can roll nicely into
32 seconds
into the halftime sort of shopkeeping. Is there another score? Oh, Sweet, was that a high tackle?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Here we go.
Sweet, the ruckman. He got the first tap, but realised it had been sharked at the coalface by McCluggage, and he gets taken high. So this will be, depending on how long McCluggage takes here, I think this will be after the siren for half-time.
5 seconds left.
And it's amazing. Hugh, does kick goals against Port. Some teams, he's like, he doesn't kick against anyone else. And then he'll kick 2 against Port, 2 against Geelong, or some team.
What a first half he has if he's kicked this, or even if he doesn't.
Well, Port have kicked the last 3 goals in the game. After the half-time siren, McCluggage fails to stop the rot. He's missed it near side. And they're those asterisk moments that continue to frustrate Chris Fagan and Lions fans. And Jace, that's a 7 out of 10 spot where you kick from there?
It is, and that's
you reckon it's 7 out of 10? Am I being cruel?
No, you're not, and that's what superstars become. Good players become superstars because they ice them no matter. It doesn't matter if it's a big game. It's the same. It's the same kick. It's the same. It's after the siren, half time. Doesn't matter. It's first quarter, second quarter, fourth quarter. Doesn't matter. You go back, you ice them, and that's where Hugh has got to just be better.
And it's the difference.
Steal himself.
The difference between being in the All-Australian squad and being in the All-Australian
Well, he will
team.
this year, but that's right.
But, little things. That's probably a bad way to. But you know what I'm saying.
Fair, but
Matt, you know what we're talking about there. You know, in the back in the day, that's where the gun.
Well, it matters now. It matters now. He's a super player having a super year. He'll be All-Australian, but he's going to go again to another level. Kick those ones.
Yeah. So it's a 21-point lead after that miss from McCluggage on the halftime siren. Brisbane 9 goals 862 to Port Adelaide 6 goals 541. So it was a 32-point lead for Brisbane at quarter time. Josh Dunkley kicked the first goal of the second term. Brisbane got to a game-high lead of 38, but Port sort of chiselled it back from that point on, kicking the last 3 goals that have been kicked in the game. So Brisbane scored 1 goal 5 to Port Adelaide's 3 goals 2 in that quarter. 9-8-61 to 6-5-41. Goal kickers for Brisbane. Zach Bailey has 2 goals. Charlie Cameron has 2 goals. And a host of single goal kickers. Archie, Dunkley, McCluggage, Ashcroft, Will and Hip Wood. While for Port, Pal Pepper's got 2. Georgiades has 2. Lukosius and Rioli have the others. Repeating, it's an ankle injury for Dante Vicentini. That's why he has been subbed out. And still trying to get further information about Asava Radaglia. There's no official communique from Port on that as yet. But maybe, and this is just a guess, I'll chase it up at halftime, maybe it's a failed head injury assessment. I think he got a boot in the face and then got taken down the rooms. So whether it's serious enough to have ruled him out,
I was thinking that.
I don't know whether there was anything about his gait, was it?
Is it HIA with this one?
That's what a head injury, yes.
Yeah.
HIA. So, well,
it took too long, right? I mean,
yeah.
You go down, you get a jab, or they do an assessment, and then they get you back on. But no, that took way too long.
And the sub had already been enacted through the Vicentini injury. So Jackson's into the game. Meanwhile, halftime at Docklands, and Hawthorn leads St Kilda. Scoreline there, the Hawks 6-6-42 to the Saints 3-6-24. Other matters in a moment. But Jason and Matt, let's tell our listeners how this first half of footy has played out. Brisbane by 21 points.
Well, I think just Port got to work. They took a couple of plays. A few of Brisbane's midfielders went missing. Both Ashcrofts, one had 3 touches. Dunkley only had 4 touches for that quarter. Their inside 50 efficiency was tracking at 75. I think it was down to 30 odd that quarter there. So they brought a bit more heat around the ball, and then they started to get some of those. They controlled the ball for a little bit to take the sting out of the game, and then they just got some real good forward handball chains going, especially from their back half, and that really upset Brisbane. Brisbane couldn't defend it. They either pressed hard forward too early, or they didn't press at all, and they were able to get some nice deep 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 looks forward and be able to kick some goals. So they kicked 3 goals 2 for the quarter to Brisbane's 1 goal 3, and really just being able to control the ball a hell of a lot better. And then by playing a little bit slower at times, that allowed them, when they did turn it over, they just didn't get done out the back like they did in the first quarter. So a great response, because they're up against it, a couple down, and a bit of a golf in some class at either ends of the ground, but a terrific quarter from them to fight back when it looked like it was going to be a disaster for them after quarter time.
Yeah, and Brisbane, as I've been saying, couldn't just keep it going, keep that momentum and that pressure and that intensity. And then you give any team in this competition, they've got talent. They support Adelaide. They can do whatever they want if you allow them, and they bring that when they bring that heat. So everything that you wanted, Matty, you looked a bit worried, and I was worried for you because they were getting flogged. But Brisbane, as they do, and they shouldn't, and I don't like that they do. They allow you to get back in the game, and they do it too often at home. They need to be far more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Ruthless.
Yeah, that's the word, ruthless. And steel themselves, just keep going and not play this rubbish footy that they do where they chip mark. We're going to see after this. So what do we get? A minute 30? Is that it? We have to give us the wind up, but that's.
No, Jason, like you're giving
it longer.
I'm
enjoying the
We've
content.
got 14 and a half minutes of halftime remaining. I need to do some scores. We need the news and highlights and stuff. So I'll give you another 60 seconds in this window.
I'm going to mention to Matty, I think Brisbane are an amazing team when the noise is up.
Yes.
What I mean by that, at Geelong last week, an amazing crowd down that one end there, and they were loud, as they are, as they should be. Brisbane here, they come to the game, they're finally in it, they get themselves, they really do love that intensity, Brisbane. And the home crowd goes get a drink and just think this will be fine, we'll just fly along. No noise. They've got to be better than that. This is their own crowd.
You know what I'll do? Asking me how long you've got.
Yeah, is that it?
You know what, Matt? I'll stir Jace up just before halftime. You know who Brisbane in 2025 remind me of?
Oh,
you lot in 2002. I reckon that was your worst year of the three-peat, 2002, but you got up when it counted.
It was our best season, actually just, the normal year to year, so that was our best.
But I reckon you guys
right.
were more hot and cold in 02 than you were. In 01, you were unstoppable. In 03, you realised, geez, you can't just turn up and win it. And then in 04, Port got you.
Yeah, well, that's another story. That's not that easy.
That's how he's trying to wind you up, mate.
Yeah.
But anyway,
we're going to need more than a minute and a half.
And the reason why I say
you do learn as a team how to play.
It's not just about footy, is it, Matt? It's about above the shoulders.
Absolutely. Because most of their games have been 2 good quarters and then they take the foot off, and hence why they're not scoring as much. They've only played 3 ripping games, what they're capable of doing this year, and it looked like they're going to do it tonight. But they've stopped after quarter time.
And because I gave you
a bit of credit to Port too.
Because I gave you that extra time, thanks to Jamie from the Port Adelaide media team, it's a hamstring for Radagalea. So that's why he is out of the team.
That's a long time to assess the hamstring.
Well,
and you can't really do much with hamstrings. You got to go, how's that feel? It's a bit tight. No, you can't run.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've got our own sort of injury on the boundary tonight, so we usually have someone right at hand. But a hamstring for Radagalea. So that's
not good news.
That's not good news at all. So repeating, Hawks by what's that at half time? They lead by 18 points at half time over St Kilda, 6-6-42 to 3-6-24. Here it's Brisbane by 21 points. Quickly around the venues in the NRL earlier tonight, Canberra defeated St George Illawarra 28 to 24. Currently 15 minutes into the second half in Townsville, North Queensland 18 lead Melbourne 16, just as I was giving the score update. Grant Anderson's gone in to score a try for Storm. So it's 18-16 kick to come for the Cowboys there. A reminder, Wednesday night for State of Origin, the decider from Sydney. In the British and Irish Lions tour game, which you can hear right now on the Sports Extra button on the Listen app. Also hear the Wallabies Fiji there tomorrow. Lions 14 leading the Waratahs 5. And, of course, through the early hours of the morning, you'll get a little bit of Wimbledon. You can get all of it if you want on the Listen app. If you've got a digital radio or the app, you can hear the cricket throughout the evening. Australia to resume with a lead of 45 at 2 for 12. Cam Green will resume on 6. Nathan Lyon, the night watchman, on 2. That test match in Grenada is moving quickly. Australia 2 for 12 with a lead of 45. And I probably really should see. I don't think Alex de Minaur's got to court as yet. He and Daria Kasatkina are the 2 Australians playing early on this Saturday at Wimbledon, which, of course, you can hear as well. There is so much sport on at the moment.
Rain, I think, Hugh, it looks like, interrupted.
Oh, here we go. So Kasatkina lost the first set to Lyudmila Samsonova of Russia. Samsonova took it 6-2 and leads with the break 2-love. That's out on the number 3 court. And I don't think the Demon...
No, he hasn't started yet, mate.
Has started. No. Matt, XC, so helpful with all of these things. Thank you. We should get a... Southport beat Brisbane in the VFL today as well. And Oscar McInerney didn't play because they wanted to rest him up, and maybe he plays against Carlton next week, the big O.
Music to my ears, that was on the drive up the highway.
Yeah.
You don't worry about that.
The senior coach at Southport was very happy not to have Oscar McInerney matching up. Half-time here, Brisbane lead by 21 points. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. We'll be back at the Gabba after a trip to the newsroom.
ABC News with David Rowlands. Victorian police continue to search for one man in relation to attempted arson at a synagogue in Melbourne last night. Samantha Johnshaw has more.
Witnesses say a Shabbat dinner at the East Melbourne Hebrew congregation was interrupted just after 8 o'clock last night when a ring of the synagogue's doorbell and smoke alerted them to a fire burning in the building's doorway. The 20 congregants left and no one was injured, but witnesses say the incident has left them shaken.
Very big night, very scary.
Emergency services extinguished the blaze, and detectives say they want to speak to one man, who they have clear images of in relation to the incident and are urging anyone with information to come forward.
Ukraine's military says its forces have struck an airbase inside Russia, calling it the home base of key Russian fighter jets. It says its forces hit a depot containing glide bombs, a training aircraft and possibly other aircraft. Russian officials have not immediately commented on the attack. Meanwhile, Ukraine says Russian forces have fired more than 300 drones and decoys at Ukrainian targets in their latest attack. Police in the US say at least 24 people are being killed by flash flooding in southern Texas, while a frantic search goes on for others missing, including more than 20 girls from a summer camp. The flooding occurred after a storm brought torrential rainfall that sent floodwaters spilling out of the Guadalupe River. Officials say more than 230 people have been rescued, most of them by helicopter. The Rail, Tram and Bus Union in New South Wales is welcoming the signing of a landmark pay agreement between the state governments and rail unions. Rail workers will now receive a 12% pay increase over 3 years, including back pay. Sydney's rail network has been plagued with industrial action due to months of stalled negotiations between the state government and unions. Toby Warnes from the RTBU's New South Wales branch says he's glad the agreement could be finalised.
It's obviously been a very trying bargain with some very hot language used by both parties, but we're really glad that we've been able to get this bargain over the line.
Tourists may soon have greater access to the Northern Territory's Kakadu National Park 6 years after a federally funded road program was first announced. Samantha Dick has the details.
A $70 million federal funding package announced in 2019 promised to upgrade roads leading to campsites at Jim Jim Falls, Maguk, Gimbat, Gunlom and Kubara to improve road safety and reduce closures during the tourist season. The first tender is due to open next week, following the long-awaited reopening of Gunlom Falls following a dispute between traditional owners and Parks Australia over damage to a sacred site. In a statement, Federal Infrastructure Minister Catherine King says the road upgrades will help drive tourism at Kakadu National Park, which typically attracts up to 200,000 tourists each year. The works will be staged over a 2-year period between 2025 and 2027.
British rock band Oasis has performed for the first time in 16 years. 74,000 people turned out to see them at Cardiff in Wales as they kicked off a global reunion tour. The crowd sang along to hits that defined the Britpop era of the 1990s, including Champagne Supernova, Wonderwall and Roll With It. A Sydney man who scored a podium finish in Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest in New York City says he's glad it's all over. 36-year-old James Webb downed 45.5 hot dogs in just 10 minutes, earning third place behind winner and 17-time champion Joey Jaws Chestnut, who devoured 70.5. Mr. Webb says training for the event was gruelling.
To be honest, training has been pretty crazy. Like, obviously, eat more to eat more. So grill up a bunch of hot dogs, line them up and set the timer and off you go. But, yeah, it's been a crazy month of every second day eating hot dogs. And to be honest, like, I'm kind of glad it's over for another year.
In other news, China has spared major cognac producers from hefty duties on EU brandy as trade tensions simmer between Brussels and Beijing over European tariffs on Chinese-made EVs. The Chinese Commerce Ministry says Beijing will levy duties of up to 35% for 5 years on brandy from the EU. However, most of France's cognac industry will be exempt, provided they sell at what the ministry calls a minimum price. And in AFL, Geelong has thrashed Richmond by 72 points in Geelong. ABC News.
First gig, favourite party tune. Every Aussie song comes with a memory. And on July 26, Triple J and Double J will be counting them down.
Hottest 100 of Australian songs.
Vote for yours now at abc.net.au/Triple J.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Morris from 60 out, kicks to full forward, and a juggling mark in the pack has been taken by Dunkley. Right in front, Josh Dunkley. 30 out, kicks the goal.
Well, here he is, Jack Lukosius, plays on, hooks it around the corner, Port goal.
Butters, then to Sweet, then to Boak, kick inside 50, Powell Pepper, third involvement. It's a mark. He was there at the start of it at half-back, Matt, and now he's 40 from goal, taking the grab. Man on the mark, 40 metres out, slightly to the right for Powell Pepper. Brilliant right foot drop punt. Number 2 has 2 in the goal mouth. Easy finish for Georgiades on the right foot snap. Power have kicked the last 3.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and on the ABC Listen app.
And didn't they need it? Welcome back to the Gabba. Quentin Hull with you for Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport. The Lions lead by 21 points at half-time after Brisbane got out to a 38-point lead when Josh Dunkley kicked that first goal of the second quarter. But 3 in a row for Port. Lions 9-8-61 to the Powers 6-5-41. If you weren't with us earlier today, 6 goals unanswered for Gold Coast in the last quarter against Essendon. It was tied at three-quarter time there, but the Suns won by 41. Gold Coast 18-7, 115 to Essendon's 11-8, 74. And sort of tight in the first quarter or so at Cardinia Park. Then Geelong did as expected and comfortably defeated Richmond. 72 points was the margin there. Geelong 18-16, 124 to Richmond's 7-10, 54. And at Docklands, just repeating, a 3-goal lead for Hawthorn at half-time. 6-6-42 to 3-6-24. We'll keep you up to date here if you want to hear it. The ABC Listen app and the AFL button is where to go. Let's have a look at some of the stats to half-time. Pricey, Michael Price calling the action with me, along with Matt Promise and Jason Ackermanis, players just out there warming up for the third term.
Disposals overall, Port Adelaide 183 to the Lions 177, so they're +6 there. Port actually lead the inside 50s 32 to 27. They lead the tackles 31 to 21. Clearances are going by the way of Port as well, 21 to 19. Centre clearances though 7 to 6 in favour of the Lions. Disposal efficiency, kicking efficiency, Port have tidied that up 67% after being 51% in the first term, and the Lions around about 62%. The big stat for the Lions is their 27 inside 50s have yielded 9 goals at 33.3% goal efficiency, whereas Port Adelaide 32 for only the 6 at 18.8, so that's the massive difference there. The second term was actually all Port Adelaide. They scored 3-3 the Lions 1-4 after the Lions had 8-4 to 3-2 in the first term. Individually, McCluggage has got 17 disposals and a goal with 6 score involvements. Cam Rayner with 15 and 6 score involvements. Zorko and Bailey and Neal all with 14 disposals. Bailey's got a couple of goals himself. For the Power, Powell Pepper has been the top of the tree there, 16 disposals and 2 goals won, 4 score involvements. He's operating at 80% kicking efficiency as well. He's doing it on the bit. Travis Boak's got 16 and 5 score involvements. Butter's got 15 and Kane Farrell 15 as well. But the scoreboard, that is 21 points the margin in favour of the Brisbane Lions after they led by 32 points at quarter time. They got up to a game high 38 at one stage. And what do you want to point out, Matt?
Nothing. I was just looking at
Matty
score source
one.
Oh, the score source one. Yeah. Well, we'll get over to that one.
You can tell he's the coach.
Yeah, you can tell he's the coach. He wants all of these things that I can't actually access via the thing. But the bottom line is the Lions, and Jason pointed it out at the end of the first term, this is where the Lions should actually be taking that 32-point advantage, really putting the foot on the throat. The big thing that has happened is both Vicentini, the young fellow, has done something to do with his knee, and Radaglia has been ruled out, ankle it was, sorry. Yeah. Radaglia has also been ruled out of the game with a hammy. So they're down to 3 on the bench, Port Adelaide, and they actually won the second quarter against Brisbane.
Not much fun as we go into it. Let's see what happens here. Can the Lions lift their intensity? I want to see the Lions just start to put some good footy together. Can Port still just match them in and around the ball?
That's the question for this second half, which gets underway with a perfect bounce in the middle. Give the ruck tap just to Sweeten. He does his roving as well. Hand pass set to task of Horne-Francis, gathers and is immediately tackled on the edge of the centre square by Rayner. And we'll see a ball up near the AFL logo on the members wing on this gorgeous Saturday night at the Gabba. Fort got that tap for Brisbane. McCluggage roves under pressure. Rush kick back towards the bullseye. Loman and Boak fly. There's a free kick in that. To who?
It should be Loman.
To Loman.
And Boak made him earn it.
Boakman too high, and Loman gets up limping a little.
Don't want that on the right foot. That's his good foot.
So he's in the centre wicket area of the Gabba, and a deep entry from Kai Loman to a pack. Zirk Thatcher fists it away for Port. On the deck, Morris Rose for Brisbane. Tackled, dropped it. Play on. Good tackle from Drew. Not rewarded. Umpire now comes in to ball up. Brisbane attacking the left of your radio dial in this third term. The school end, Port off to the right.
This is the scoring end. Lohmann off the hands of the ruckman, just scrubs a kick along the turf. It bounces over the boundary line adjacent to the point post and will get a throw in the left forward pocket.
Was limping a bit too high, but I think it didn't matter there. You know when you get those little stingers.
So, as Austin Power said, he was hopping on the good foot. Is that what he said?
It was his good foot.
Throw in.
Oh,
sorry about that.
Can't win.
The ruckman go at it. Fort slaps it down. Just out of the path of Lohmann, picked up by Bergman. It's a floater. It's going to work out. Georgiades got there first in front of Ryan Lester. He's got his back to the Port goal. He's on the boundary line, 70 metres behind. So he's made a long way down the field to get that ball. It's a long kick down the line. Wilmot had the set. Wasn't paid the mark. It was a late spoil from Sin. Well gathered. Kick forward by Lukosius. Taken there by Richards. 70 from goal at right half forward. And he was too slow, Acker. He had players out, but that extra little bit of weight and so many lines got back inside defensive 50. He fled it to Lukosius.
45 metres clear, Boak. Well, when you're that old,
I'm 35 and run this far, you don't kick it to me.
Oh, you hate that. So now the slow ball in.
Lukosius kicks infield to Sin. 60 from goal. Kick to the pocket and a pack. Off hands. Ainsworth runs it out of play under pressure from Powell Pepper. Throw in.
I wonder what your teammates are doing. They should be just pointing it.
Yeah, well, after sort of 19 seasons in the Cape, Travis Boak's thinking, why am I running that hard to space in the forward line?
Smart.
If you're not going to kick it to me. He was out. He was well placed, but not seen, unfortunately, by Richards until too late. Boundary throw in, Port on attacking 50. It's spiked back towards the boundary line. We'll do it again about 10 metres closer to Port's goals.
A little bit lacklustre in the intensity there, Q, where the Lions have done it again. They're just sort of building into this quarter. Let's see what happens. I mean, Port should get a couple of goals here while they can. Repeat entries.
No score in this third term as yet. Brisbane by 21 points. Dropped a few games at the Gabba this year. Sweet, uncontested, taps down beautifully to Butters, who misses from the front of the goal mouth. He was 12 metres out, left foot snap, miss-hit Zach Butters. That's a poor miss by any standard, but particularly a player of his class. That's a 20-point margin, 62 to 42. First score of the third term.
He had some wheels there, Butters. Just couldn't quite get full benefit for that kick. Ainsworth kicks long down the line, just beyond centre wing, in fact. It was a good contest from Sam Day to bring it forward. McCluggage was front and square, tackled there by Drew. The umpire will come in and ball it up. Just forward of centre wing here on the Vulture Street side. The Lions end comes off the end of Fort there. Handball by Dunkley to Lohmann. Lohmann overshot the kick. The lead was good from Logan Morris, and he had a couple of metres on Aaliyah, but the kick was too strong. Aaliyah took the mark.
That is stiff.
And it's not United.
Not United.
3 touches and he had a beautiful split and over his head.
Last 2 starts, he's kicked 5 goals in each one. He's had 3 touches so far, Logan.
I think he had that week off and just went to McDonald's. He just thought, oh, no one will know. No one will know. And then all of a sudden, he knows. He had a big too many nuggets.
There's about 6 kicks there, Jace. So I just catch up, you know?
Well, it's over the other side.
Okay, Travis Boker's got it on the wing. He received from Georgiades. It was a measured build-up from the back pocket. That was my little behind the ear for Jace there. Jones in the middle of the ground. Kicks it to right half forward. Zerk Thatcher marks. 60 from goal. Kicks it to the pocket. He's kicked it to Berry. He was trying to find
3 of them, wasn't
Richards, but Berry takes the mark in the left back pocket. Chips infield to Neal. Called to play on. Runs in front of the goal mouth to kick to an unmarked Starcevic at right half back. Plays on with a kick to the wing. Lohmann's in a bit of space. Takes the grab. Plays on quickly with a kick to the hard-running Bailey. It pitches in front of him. Bailey gathers it. Gets around Boak and winds. That is unfair for those 2 blokes against Zach Bailey. Not in the right age category. Kick wasn't great from Bailey, though. And it set a task of Zorko, who's holding the ball. Speaking of senior citizens having a tough time, Zork's holding the ball. Free kick, Port. Boat with the hand pass to Wines. It's the old age benefit out there. Zorko, Wines. Boat now into attacking 50. Powell Pepper can't gather on the bounce. He does eventually and is holding the ball. Free kick to Brisbane in the right back pocket. Save me, Michael, please. Brisbane by 20 points.
It's just a sloppy 3 or 4 minutes here from both teams. The game's up for grabs. If one of the defence should show a bit of composure.
Yeah.
Well, Barry grabbed it in the goal square. Nice kick to right half back. There's a good contested mark against Darcy Byrne-Jones by Brandon Starcevic. He tries to bite off the 45 kick to Will Ashcroft. It was intercepted. Well done there by Jackson. The Port sub who's been injected. Now there's been a high shot. It'll be Brisbane play on advantage. Zorko loops a handball to Will Ashcroft into the centre of the ground to the runner Bailey. Now Rayner gets involved from the top of the centre square. He kicks it towards the pocket. It overshot yet again. Charlie Cameron saying, kick it lower. I can't jump that high. The ball skids over the Gabba turf and it'll be a throw in the right forward pocket.
Disconnection. When you're running that quick through there and you've got these multiple handball chains, you've just got to get in front of your man and just yell and scream and throw your hands in the air. You might get a better shot at it, Charlie.
The throw in with Brisbane in attack. Sweet taps down to Aaliyah. Hand passes to Rosie. Hard in the pocket. He hand passes well to Horn Francis. Gives it to Drew. Rush clearing kick though. Gee, hard work for a mung kick in the end. Ainsworth intercepts. 65 out for Brisbane. Kick back to full forward. Straight to Lockie Neal. Marks it 20 out directly in front, but that won't be paid because Connor Rosie was not given a chance to get to the ball.
That's a 7.4 at the Olympics, that one.
You reckon that had a bit of George Laganis about it? Greg Laganis, that was him. Thank you, Jason, for the correction. Berry with an inside kick to the pocket. Cameron takes the mark.
George was his brother.
George Laganis. Oh dear. Now Charlie Cameron's taken this mark in the left forward pocket, 30 metres out. That was Barcelona. It was a long time ago, 1992.
He did hit his head.
Good job.
He did hit his head.
Started with G.
Cameron, one step infield, right foot snap. Third goal of the night for Charlie Cameron. And fair enough to say, Brisbane needed it at the start of this third quarter. Port had kicked the last three in the game. 26 points the lead to the locals at 10-8, 68 to 6-6, 42.
Yeah, well, Port's inefficiency going forward have cost them the last 5 or 6 minutes. They had territory then, and then unfortunately there was a bad kick coming out of the back line by Rosie, I think it was. Kicked it to a 2-on-1 and then back into Charlie Cameron. Yeah, the game was up, not the game was up for grabs, but the scoreboard pressure was up for grabs the last 3 or 4 minutes, and Port will be ruining some missed inside 50s and opportunities, and see if Brisbane can put their foot down now and see if they can score some multiple goals back to back.
Yesterday. And if you hit targets, if you hit targets, as you said, Matty, that's what Brisbane weren't doing in that second quarter, and we said it. And the crowd's up. Here we go. Here's my theory. The crowd's up. Can they do it? They are very good with the crowd, Q.
Let's see if the Lions can wrestle some of that momentum away from the crowd singing. Ashcroft, handball now to McCluggage. There's a pass to the lead of Dunkley. Takes the mark in front of Aaliyah. 45 out, just slight angle to the right.
And Pricey, that's Aaliyah's problem. You got guys on you, it's going to come out. He wants to go back and take the big mark, and that's what his vulnerability is. His team, or his opponent can get in front.
Dunkley has one this evening, and he goes left and finds Jasper Fletcher. He marks it on the arc of 50, so Josh Dunkley obviously thought he didn't have the journey. This kid does.
He does. Just have a shot.
He gets around to the right of the mark. He lets go. It's a sidewinder. It's going to make it. Oh, it just went right of the post as there was a wrestle and let the ball through. So one behind. 69 plays 42. It is now a 27-point margin.
Meanwhile, at Docklands, Hawks 6-6-42, Saints 3-9-27. That game just tracking a little behind this. As Zirk Thatcher receives the kick in, chips a short ball to left half back Lukosius. And barrels a 75-metre ball to half forward. Byrne-Jones with the fly, can't mark but roves. Hands it to Drew, hands it out the back to Butters, who chips it inside 50, but 2 against Jackson, the sub. And Zorko, one of those lines, takes the mark, plays on, kicks Brisbane back to the middle of the ground. McCluggage 2 against, can't mark. Burgoyne taken high, no free kick. Lions win the scrimmage. It's fought with a hand pass onto Berry, gathers it on the wing. Poor handball though, stolen by Lockie Jones. So hold on.
Zirk Thatcher dragged the man to the ground.
So it's a Brisbane free kick to Berry on the wing, plays on quickly, short pass to Cameron, not 15. Cameron plays on with a left foot kick inside 50. Morris gives away a free kick with a push on Jace Burgoyne.
Oh, that's 50.
That's 50. That is 50.
Yeah, they didn't give the ball back to him, but the ump didn't give the 50. Jace Burgoyne's ball just inside D50 at right half back, Brisbane by 27 points.
So Burgoyne flares it left to find Aaliyah in the opposite pocket. Now he looks to measure a pass. It was a good lead, well honoured there. Lukosius takes it left half back. He bites off a kick to the point of the centre square to Jackson. That's a floating sack. Went to the outer wing. It was cut off there by Fletcher. Gave the handball to McCluggage. Inside 50, over the head of Bailey. And Zirk Thatcher takes a good defensive mark. He immediately plays on.
Just no price. They're going to start hitting them, and Port's going to be in trouble.
Well, Farrell, the left footer, brings it out. That's a nicely weighted kick to find Joe Richards, who's been in good form for Port Adelaide. Former Pie. He goes laterally to the left, looking for Boak. Well spoiled by Zorko, who picks it up, kicks a mongrel inside forward 50. Nicely picked up by Morris. Gave the handball back to Bailey. Bailey shrugs off one tackler too easily, and he hit the fat side of the ball. It was actually a fend.
In the face.
In the face. There you go.
Where else are you going to fend him?
Well, around the chest is handy, but in the face, not too legal. So Connor Rozee gets a justifiable free kick in the right back pocket.
Do they still say that in basketball when you dunk on someone, that you do it in the face?
In the face.
Yeah.
That was sort of a thing that was said, but we're getting a bit old. Is it still cool to say in your face?
I think so.
Because that fend was in your face, wasn't it, Michael?
It was nearly in the jaw.
Rosie kicks across the goal to Jones. Marks, and Michael's just chuckling in the background. Doesn't like that line of questioning at all. Port run it to the wing. Farrell feigns his way around McCluggage. Ham passes to Bergman. Four to the wing. Bergman's kick inside 50 is good, and Lukosius takes the mark. Uncontested on his chest, 45 from goal. And he is going back to have a shot. Didn't even look of dishing it off.
He's doing Q, yes.
You know how far he can kick it when he...
Yes.
Although it is a bit chilly out there. You don't have the boundary line. It's 11 degrees, 12 degrees?
It's nice for football.
So,
you're sounding very Queenslandy there, Jason.
I know.
By saying it's chilly by local standards.
Matty's got the long sleeve on.
This would be stubbies and thongs weather for Port fans at the Adelaide Oval. Here comes Lukosius with his right boot. Beautiful strike. He is a wonderful kick of the football. And boy, the Power fans... No matter how they're dressed, they're going to warm to this guy as long as he can stay fit and in the team. They're still in this Port. Much needed goal. Lukosius has two. It's Brisbane 10-9-69 to Port Adelaide 7-6-48.
What a kick. What a kick. What a strike. That's why they got him. That's why they paid him to come over, because we need that. And that's what you need from your forwards. They're difficult kicks, long and wide. And he makes it look easy, I know. But
you just wonder, when Todd Marshall gets fit, what that forward line will look like with Georgiades and now Lukosius at the club, Matt.
Yeah, that's a match-up problem, right?
Yeah, they've missed the tools, and then Marshall also is tall, but then the agility and on the ground, he's the next level. Unfortunately, Achilles pre-season sort of knocked him around, and they really haven't been able to find anyone to fill that gap at all year.
They're going to need, but can they get another one here, Port? Make a game of it.
Just for you, Acker, it's 13 degrees here at Wollongabba as the clearance happens for Wilmot. Tumbles one inside 50. Bergman reads it beautifully. Puts on the skates, does the 1-2 handball. Gets it to Zirk Thatcher, who's barreled. Could have been in the back. It goes back into the corridor, though. Horn Francis. He was monstered. Still got the handball away. Pal Pepper, who's had a great game. He's done an ankle. Well, he's let go the ball anyway. Picked up by Dunkley, who sizzles a pass to Cal Archie gets there first. Gathered around the ankles, the handball to the run of Levi Ashcroft. Shrugs Rosie off, gives the ball back to Archie, kicks it to the top of the square. Hipwood with the target. It was spoiled away. Horn Francis. He shrugged Lohman off too easily as well. Good strength, and he kicked it just beyond left half back to find Connor Rozee.
So Pal Pepper has limped his way to the bench. He wasn't far away from it, but he's now just sort of making his way to the seats and is going to be assessed. But it looks like a left knee, which buckled.
Yeah, he's tough, man. He won't want that to happen, but it looked bad.
Ball's gone over the boundary line, not far away from him. So Pricey, he could just have the glasses up on him there. The trainers came to him. He immediately got up and limped his way from the field with that left knee, obviously in pain.
Oh, they hurt.
Now, he's actually having run-throughs now, Pal Pepper. He's trying to run it out.
He would.
Oh, my dear.
He'd be like the Terminator. You could have shot him.
It is, yeah.
He's limping and trying to get some movement in it, so at least that's a bit of positivity. Where's the footy?
Leah's got off the back flank.
Okay.
Just held onto it for a very, very long time, and he goes down the outer side, just beyond centre wing. Sam Day spoiled. Front and square work was very good from Jackson, the activated sub. Kicks it inside 50, looking for Lukosius, and it's spoiled away by Harris Andrews to the, gentle applause of the Brisbane Lions fans over that side of the ground. There'll be a throw in at left half forward for the Port Power.
It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Quentin Hull, Michael Price, Matt Primus and Jason Ackermanis with you at the Gabba. Brisbane lead by 21 points. Far from over here. Port getting some traction in this game. Rayner tackled by Boak, but got a hand pass to Berry at right half back. Given by hand to Dunkley. Clearing kick to the wing. Aaliyah first to meet it. Can't mark, but roves his own crumb for Port. Hand pass given to Boak. Hands it infield to Bergman. Gets onto his right boot, edge of the centre square. Bergman kick to Rioli. Drops the mark in the pocket under the late arriving pressure from Starcevic. Keeps it in with a toe baker though. Stolen by Answorth of Brisbane. Hands it off to Levi Ashcroft. Runs to half back.
Downfield.
Whistle on play.
Yeah, Levi got hit.
Eric Hipwood marked it anyway, Jace. Hipwood plays on. Kicks to the wing where Lohman takes the grab on true halfway.
That's what they need here, Pricey. They need to move that a little bit quicker. They've got them on the ropes if they want them.
Well, Lohman kicked it to right half forward. Logan Morris got his way to the front of the pack. Took a mark, urged to play on. Central ball, beautifully weighted. And it found Lockneil only about 40 metres out, but he's basically directly in front.
And Pricey and Q, this is the difference. If Lockie goes back, he's a superstar. This is what you want from your A-grade, A++ midfielders. Getting on a little bit. We know how good he is, Lockie Neal. This is what we talk about with McGluggage. Great kick by Logan, mind you. He tried to get the 50, probably unlucky not to get it.
Only the 5 goals too for Lockie Neal so far in season 2025. Let's go from just on 45. It's a nice looking drop punt from the dual Brownlow medalist. Kicks the goal for Brisbane, a much needed one for them. 11-9-75, Port Adelaide 7-6-48. It is a 27-point margin, 18 gone third term.
And all the while, I hope the official snapper's got an image. It was a brilliant shot. I had the eyes on Pal Pepper, who's obviously done something serious to that knee. He had a moment where he leant forward with his head in his hands, and Travis Boak came across and put his hand across his shoulder. That might be the last time those two get to play footy together. Yeah, and now Pal Pepper finally succumbs and goes down the race.
The tendons are warm, remember? They feel okay, but when they get cold.
Yeah, well, and he's obviously coming off a knee, Rico, and he would know. Let's not go too deep in it, but
but just the imagery of it to give our listeners, he'd had a run through, and then he just had a moment, Pal Pepper, where he stopped and put his hands on his face, and Boak was there to put his arm around his mate.
A lot of respect there.
Brisbane now by 27 points on the goal kick, and Neil gets the centre bounce clearance for Brisbane. Kick to right half forward. Sims there for Port to intercept. Can't keep the ball in though, and we'll see a throw in on right half forward.
That's the second time tonight, Q. Francis gave away another undisciplined 50. So they had him pinned, and then he gives away 50. Brisbane go in and kick a goal. When you're scrapping and everything to hang in the game, you just don't need those undisciplined, team-orientated free kicks again.
He'll get better at.
He's too good a player to have those things in his game.
Coach killer.
Only 2 left on the bench now for Port Adelaide. 2 left on the bench. Sam Pal Pepper has been ruled out of the game.
To go with hamstring for Radaglia and ankle for Vicentini.
As he coached at Port tonight.
Off the hands, Neil, handball inside 50 to Lohman, the showman unleashes! And he gives the crowd something to applaud as well. A little bit of a strut up against the fence, Kai Lohman. 12th goal for the Brisbane Lions, extending their lead, 12-9-81, 7-6-48, 33 points the margin, 20 gone, third term.
Like that, you like that finish, and I like when I talk about him or to him, he's had a difficult year, but he's coming good. And that's the quality of the player. That said, there are 3 blonde blokes over there. I don't know how you guys can tell that far in that far corner. You had two Ashcrofts and him. If you chucked in Fletcher,
Yeah, well, we can't kick 55 on the run off both feet, so we all have our skill set, Jason.
Well, I know this. But I also know. Could be here all night, ladies and gentlemen. I get sacked halfway through the last. That'll be enemy. Am I going down to the rooms? It's Pricey.
No, Pricey, we're not that bold. Lions have kicked 3 of 4 goals in this third quarter. Brisbane lead by 33 points. Centre bounce, fought and sweet battle. Horne-Francis wins the ricochet. Hand pass defensive side of the stoppage to Wines. Kicks it around his body to the wing. Gathered low down by Butters. Hand pass is not all that good. Burgon was in the vicinity, didn't really get him. Lohman arrives to a pressure for Brisbane. Picked up by Levi Ashcroft on the wing. Kicks it to half forward. Day can't mark. But Bailey Rhodes got a high tackle. Says, play on. No free kick. Lockie Jones picks it up for Port. High kick to the wing. Fort fists it away from Georgiades. Out of play for a boundary throw-in. It's Brisbane 12-9-81 to Port Adelaide 7-6-48. And 6 minutes left in the third quarter at Docklands. Hawthorn 9-6-60 to St Kilda 4-10-34. Fair to say we've got the more entertaining of the 2 Saturday night fixtures, I think, gentlemen.
Well, Jordan Sweet took that out of the ruck. He was immediately claimed by McCluggage, and umpire will come in and throw it up. And, clearly indicates where he's going. Don't get in the way, because that's really dangerous nowadays as the handball goes over the top. Wilmot gave it to Ashcroft. Back to Wilmot. Puts on the skates. Kicks it inside 50. Lomas at the back. Oh, he dropped it. But he had the big set over the top. What a handball to Rayner. Rayner beautifully tackled. Still got it away. It hit the base of the post, and it will be one rush behind. Who got that handball away?
It was absolutely Rayner hand passed it through for a point.
I think he thought it.
But the one to him was actually Archie. So 82 plays 48, 34 points the margin.
Zerk Thatcher receives the kick in the back pocket. Kicks to half back. Nice mark, Horne-Francis. He marks Will Ashcroft in a one-on-one. So now Levi, younger brother, has to stand the mark. Horne-Francis kicks dangerously across half-back. Oh, he's missed his target. Bailey pinches his pocket and bang, bang, bang. That's the price you pay against the Premier.
That's a poor offset.
And the reason why I said bang 3 times, because number 33 has 3 and Brisbane lead 13 goals, 10-88 to 7-6-48. On a clanger with a capital K from Jason Horne-Francis.
Yeah, that is a clanger. 3-on-1, mate. Coach killer.
Yeah, well, he's done.
They're getting tired, maybe.
Well, yeah, a few of them are getting tired. He's not. I just watched him from that stoppage. He's a great stoppage player, but then when it goes away, he's the last one to leave. Even the rucks don't leave. So, yeah, he's got to do a bit of work on his game. But, yeah, they are a tired team at the moment. Especially the way Brisbane play, it's taking a lot out of them to hang in there. And now with another man down, the floodgates are definitely opening up in the last 10 or 12
minutes. He's had one of those couple of weeks too, he'd be keen to get a few more goals.
All of a sudden a game high 40 points now in favour of the Brisbane Lions. Darcy Fort gets the tap down, sharked by Ollie Wines. Got the handball out wider, nicely picked up by Jackson, gave it forward to Butters. Butters inside 50, he found Joe Richards against the boundary line. In fact, it's where the 50 arc hits the boundary line, so he's at a virtually,
feels confident too, doesn't he?
Well, he's turned his back. I just said it's almost impossible angle and distance.
And he can kick a long way, but I reckon that's the 5th time I've seen them down in that corner. It must be a game plan, surely. It can't be just by accident they're getting out to that junction.
So Joe Richards, 9 goals for the year. Let's go from right on the arc. It's not a bad conveyance. It goes across the face, though, one behind.
Goal. Is it a goal?
Oh, no, hang on.
It's a goal.
Or are they checking it out?
They're high-fiving him.
Well, they're high-fiving him.
That's a goal.
Lions were acting as if it was rushed through.
No, they're going back to the centre bounce too.
Umpire paints the invisible square. And
that's a good goal.
Review underway.
We'll just do this for the next 20-30 seconds and have a look at the replay.
But again, Matt,
they're all setting up like they kicked.
They're checking it didn't hit the post.
Oh, no, that's
review complete. Looking at these angles, we can see the ball goes through the goals.
There you go. So it is a goal.
What a goal.
And that is a magnificent kick from Joey Richards.
It was nothing, wasn't it, Pricey? You couldn't tell from the crowd because there was no crowd noise.
Everybody was absolutely stunned. The Lions were acting like it was rushed, and there you go. So all of a sudden, that margin gets cut back, and Port get their 8th. So it's 13-10-88 to Port 8-6-54. Back to 34 points, the margin in favour of Brisbane.
And Port, just repeating, Pal Pepper, knee, Radigalia, hamstring, Vicentini, ankle, all out of the game. They're down to 2 on the bench. The Power and...
Unlucky.
Well, they've provided, dare I say it, which is of little solace for Port fans, they've provided entertainment. It's been a good game to watch, but they're running out of men and they're running out of time and they're running further behind, although that helps a little. They're trying to sell 34 points being alive, and in modern footy it generally is this stage, third quarter, but with men down against the Premiers, well, centre bounce clearance helps. Wines hands it to Drew, kicks it inside 50. Andrew spoils away from Horne-Francis. Horne-Francis follows up and makes a brilliant tackle, earns a free kick, holding the ball on Jasper Fletcher.
Yeah.
So it's all there, gentlemen. We're 26 minutes third quarter. This goes through, it's 28 the diff.
Yeah.
So
it'll like this.
But you got to. So modern footy says yes, game on. But with only 2 men on the bench on the reigning Premier's home deck, you don't want to sell sugar to the candy store. But at least I'm going with a little bit of Lloyd Christmas. If he kicks this, I'm telling you, there's half a chance.
Or a chance.
Horne-Francis from 50. It's a mongrel Steve Kernahan beauty. That's a South Australian sack if ever you've seen it. The great Sticks would be proud of the flight path of that one. That had no end over end about it.
Even John, you'd be laughing yourself. He knows he doesn't deserve the high fives, but he'll take it.
All the South Australians know that. It started at Glenelg and went all the way to the Blues. And there he is, Jason Horne-Francis, in the spirit of Stephen Kernahan. A horrible mung from 50, which is straight,
heavy ball,
which makes the margin 28 points.
3 minute sign goes up, heavy ball. Used to love them. If you get them, if you know how to kick, you got some power, Matty. They do go a little bit further. But that had no reason. That was spinning every way but the right way.
The look on his face too.
Even he was like, yeah, thanks fellas. Smile on the face, high five. Yeah,
a little bit of relief, but let's put this in context. They've got 2 left on the bench. They had 3 on the bench after 1 term of football, and they're only 28 points down after being rolled and 32 points down at quarter time.
Can they keep it up, Pricey, as they come out of the middle?
As Bailey goes long. Nicely spoiled was Aaliyah by Archie, who ends up gathering at ground level. His kick in turn was semi-spoiled. He went back and got it though. Handball to Dunkley, tackled, let loose the ball. Now Port have it. It's Rosie. Indiscriminate kick down the just short of centre wing. Zorko was hit high on the point of the centre square as he went to gather that ball.
Yeah, that's they're going to stop the game here. He got hit.
No, I reckon he's caught one in the guts too.
He's he's already given you, I'm going to get you.
He's just sucking in the big ones, Zorks, and his lower abdomen, let's say.
Is Cuba Gooding Jr. and Jerry Maguire right now, I reckon.
What a head, right?
Yeah.
Nice kick inside 50. Darcy fought the target, the double grab and the big ruckman. Takes it in front of Ollie Wines. He had the height advantage.
How about Zork thinking we've conceded the last 2? I can milk the umpire for an extra 10 seconds here just to take a bit of the fizz out of it, and then bang.
Now Zork's gone up immediately and got in the face of Jason Horne-Francis.
So he should. That's what you do when you're 36.
And angry.
You know who to take on.
So
get him stirred up.
Darcy fought now from directly in front. Let's go from 30 and kicks the goal. They all get around him too. The big ruckman with the satchel feet. Whacks it through the big sticks. 14-10-94, plays 9-6-60. It's back to 34 points, the margin in favour of Brisbane late in the third term.
20 points is the margin at Docklands. Hawthorn leads St Kilda in that game. Hawks 10-6-66 to St Kilda 6-10. 46 call available on the Listen app. Look for the AFL button. It's red and blue. And
that's full time up there.
Yeah, the Storm beat North Queensland 26-20 in the NRL.
That'd feel like a loss, though. The Storm comes up, beats you. It'd be 1,000 degrees compared to what it'd be in bloody Melbourne.
In Townsville, warm up there. So, is that the little bubble of Port's resistance? What have we got? 90 seconds of playing time left in this third quarter. Brisbane by 34 points. Centre bounce. McCluggage roves, hands to Dunkley, back to McCluggage, Brisbane clearance. McCluggage chip to half forward, Day presents, has it spoiled away by Zerk Thatcher. Burgoyne roves, slips over, gets tackled, ball up, says the ump. 60 from Brisbane's goal at left half forward for the Lions. Umpire quick about his work. Clean possession for Sweet at ruck time. Ham passes to Wines from half back, rushes a kick to half forward. No one there for Port. Straight to Cal Archie at centre half back. Marks uncontested for Brisbane.
And he's just gone back to give that extra number. You can see how slippery it is with even Starcevic dropping that sitter. There's too much moisture on the ball at the moment.
Well, he kicked it to the wing to a 2-on-1 and Port won that. Jackson now done well in after being activated the sub. Centralises the ball. Rioli under enormous pressure.
Free kick.
Well, he got infringed upon. He's going to get a free kick, 45 out, more or less directly in front, right in Willie's wheelhouse.
Yes. You see some games and you've got to get 3 times the pressure to get these free kicks. That said, he was there. But the ball being so slippery, heavy night starting to turn in half a wet game. Will he kick this though, Matty?
Well, he's ignored everyone else and turned his back, so I think he feels pretty confident.
He doesn't
Jason,
have to get
did
clever.
you just ask how is he in the wet, Willie?
Oh, here we go.
There's a good weather app called Wet Willie. No.
So Willie Rioli from the arc of 50. Has he got the distance? He has. Straight enough, and that's his second. And once again, they just will not go away, Port Adelaide. 14-10-94 to Port's 10-6, 66. 28 points the margin, very late in this third term.
Making a game of it, Matty, and good goal scoring.
Yeah, 5 goals to 4 this quarter. They're only a goal down with a couple of men off. They're hanging around, not getting blown away. So they're showing pretty good courage with a couple of men down. And at times, Brisbane look like they're going to blow the game open, but they keep on responding every time Brisbane open up that gap.
And just the context, Port 7 wins and 8 losses, Jace, and they've got West Coast at home, then Hawthorn in Tassie before a showdown. So that's sort of, these 4 weeks won't decide their season, but certainly they wouldn't have been expected to win tonight, but it's going to make them 7-9 if they don't.
With those injuries too.
And tonight, having lost Powell, Pepper knee, Radaglia hamstring and Vicentini ankle. Centre bounce. Important little period before three-quarter time. It's on the deck. Picked up the... Archie got it for Brisbane, but there's a free to Port. Wines got manhandled. There's 5 seconds. Ollie Wines' kick is too wide to really threaten the score. Went to the flank for Rosie and the time beats them. That's three-quarter time at the Gabba, and it's Brisbane leading by 28 points. The scoring progression looks like this. It was Brisbane by 32 at quarter time, by 21 at the half, and in that term, Brisbane got it out to, again, 40 points before Port kicked 3 of the last 4 goals. So that 40-point lead during the third quarter was a game high, but as mentioned, Port just kicking 3 of the last 4 to, keep in Dreamers' distance here. And I say that with all due respect, because it's a 2-man bench with those 3 injuries, and they're playing the Premiers away from home. But in modern footy, 28 points at three-quarter time, it used to be a match-winning lead. These days, you sort of don't think it is. Brisbane's 14-10-94 to Port's 10-6-66. Zach Bailey has kicked 3 goals for Brisbane. Charlie Cameron's doing a good job of winning the highest ever goals kicked for possessions earned in a season. He's had 7 touches for 3 goals. Oh. And he's had other games this year where he's hardly touched the ball, yet has kicked a couple of goals. So 3 to Bailey, 3 to Cameron. Singles, and plenty of them. Loman, Archie, Dunkley, McCluggage, Will of the Ashcrofts, Neal, Hipwood, and Fort. While for Port, before he left with a knee injury, Powell Pepper has 2. Lukosius with a couple, Rioli with a couple, Georgiades with 2 as well. Singles for Horn, Francis and Richards. Brisbane by 28 points at three-quarter time. It's also three-quarter time at Docklands. Hawks have got another goal there. They're in control of that one by 26 points. Hawthorn 11-6-72 to the Saints 6-10-46. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Where else will you find free fun and games? Teens being boss, hard quiz, foiled by kids, and of course...
Do not watch this show!
Find them all where it's always free, always fun for the family. ABC iView.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Cameron, one step infield, right foot snap, third goal of the night for Charlie Cameron. Here comes Lukosius with his right boot. Beautiful strike. He is a wonderful kick of the football. And boy, the Power fans, no matter how they're dressed, they're going to warm to this guy as long as he can stay fit and in the team.
Off the hands, Neil, handball inside 50 to Lohman. The showman unleashes. And he gives the crowd something to applaud as well. A little bit of a strut up against the fence, Kai Lohman.
Horne-Francis kicks dangerously across half-back. Oh, he's missed his target. Bailey pinches his pocket and bang, bang, bang! That's the price you pay against the Premier. Horne-Francis from 50. It's a mongrel Steve Kernahan beauty. That's a South Australian sack if ever you've seen it. The great Sticks would be proud of the flight path of that one.
Darcy Fort now from directly in front. Let's go from 30 and kicks the goal. So Willie Rioli from the arc of 50. Has he got the distance? He has. Straight enough, and that's his second.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Three-quarter time at the Gabba. Brisbane lead by 28 points. And if you're one of those that have got things to do throughout the evening and into the morning, of course, ABC Sport, it doesn't stop at this time of year. We've got Wimbledon continuing from SW19. A bit of Australian interest there tonight with De Minaur and Kasatkina involved. Of course, the cricket gets underway just before midnight. Australia's lead is only 45 at 2 for 12 in the third innings of that game. Cam Green on 6 and Nathan Lyon 2 to resume. And a bit of rain around Wimbledon at the moment, so the outside courts have been suspended. No play on the number one or centre as yet because they start later in the day. When the rain came, Kasatkina was a set down to Samsonova with De Minaur to play later in the day or into the night as we know it here. NRL tonight, Canberra 28, St George Illawarra 24. Melbourne has defeated North Queensland 26-20 and getting late on in the British and Irish Lions. Latest two a game, they're playing the New South Wales Waratahs tonight. The Lions lead 21-10. There's 6 minutes to go there. A reminder, tomorrow's Wallabies Fiji test is available for you for the sports through the Sports Extra button on the ABC Listen app, and that's where you can hear not only all of the tour games in the British and Irish Lions series, but all of those test matches as well. Is there a Port Adelaide miracle here? Three-quarter time, Brisbane by 28 points and only two men on the bench, Matty.
I'd love to say there is, but the ability to kick probably another 7 or 8 goals to win the game, and they've only kicked 10, and they just don't look like the ability to score freely, which means they've got to hold Brisbane up, and they look very difficult to hold up for a half. They're only going to 37% inside 50 efficiency. So, no, I'd love them to show some heart and hang on, but geez, it's going to be hard, especially if Brisbane, and they should try and play a bit more up-tempo this quarter to take advantage of the less of the legs that Port have got out there and really try and run them off their feet and get some fast, quick ball movement inside 50, mate.
Yeah, the things we love, but we'll soon see. And can the Lions just got to be a bit more consistent and start to make advantage of their bloody good work.
Good bounce to start for the final term from umpire Stevens. It comes in. Rayner tackled high, will get the free kick. Imposed himself on the contest, did Cam Rayner, as he does in the middle. Immediately wants to play on. Shot a handball off, put his mate Zorko under pressure. Scrubby kick ensued. Nicely cut off by Rosie.
Oh, what a kick.
He flares it out to the right, into the path. Well, it was Butters, in fact, who ended up getting it. And he chips it to the left now and finds Ollie Wines. Just working his way into the game after returning. He chips it onto the arc of 50 and finds Lukosius. Now, this is well within his distance.
Crossy, here's another one that they're shooting from opposite to the other, the junction here at the 50 on the other end, on the other side of the ground, I should say. That said, Port Adelaide's tackling tonight at times has been outstanding and so good. And been right on the back of every Lions player.
They're plus 18 in tackles, Port Adelaide, and Lukosius from left half forward, releases from 50. That is a thing of beauty. An absolutely magnificent drop punt. Third goal for Jack Lukosius. Boy, that was brilliant. 14-10-94, plays 11-6-72. They're not going away. They only trail by 22 points after a minute and a bit of the final term.
They're not. Matty,
have you seen many people kick goals from there, Eka?
I have. but it looks like a game plan. Does it look like a game plan to you?
That's what they got him. They had not enough guys or any guys that could kick the ball either inside 50 or be able to kick balls from just outside 50. That's why they recruited him there, and tonight he's shown that he's capable of doing that.
So 4 of the last 5 goals in the game have been kicked by Port Adelaide after they were basically gone. 2 men on the bench, 25 minutes third term, trailing by 40.
Yeah.
But they've kicked 4 of the last 5 and are now within the 4 goals. It's 22 points the lead to Brisbane at the start of this final term. Lukosius with 3. What a return to the team for him. Centre bounce. Fought with the tap for Brisbane. McCluggage rolls it along the deck to the advantage of Neal. Picks up rush kick inside 50. And Morris, who's been quiet tonight, leads the Cirque Thatcher to the drop to take a chest mark 40 metres out.
Well, after all that chicken nuggets.
Centre bounce goal, not a goal yet, but a centre bounce clearance and a shot on goal directly in front hurts when you're trying to hang in. But
this kid has got a good technique. Goals.
Dare I say it, Jason and Matt, he is the player that Brisbane Lions fans hoped Eric Hipwood would become.
I want to talk about Eric. A different beast.
They are different beasts, but that's what the fans thought. They wanted the mobile, tallish forward. This young man stepped up to play that role. And when you kick like that, may well you earn that reputation. 45 out, dart straight from Logan Morris. It answers the Lukosius goal back to the three-quarter time margin of 28 points.
Did have a little left to right. Let's not talk about that bit. But a quiet night. Quiet night. You love that coming out of the centre. Forwards in front, we tell as coaches and as players. Good chest mark there. And the worst thing ever too, Matty. You've just gone down there, kicked one amazing goal, Lukosius. And he's been pretty happy, obviously, all those chicken nuggets he's not talking about. And now he's got his first for the night.
You're right, Aka. He's got some accuracy about him. 31 goals, 11 this year. And not all of them from the easiest of angles as well.
He made his debut in round 8 of last season. It has been a very meteoric rise to an important part of this very good team.
Back into the middle, off hands of Ruckman Drew, gave it back to Sweet. Now Butters gets away from the centre circles, gets through traffic, did beautifully, ran a long way too. Kicks it into the left forward pocket. Lukosius did well. It was a nice spoil away from him by Harris Andrews. It got to the arc and there's a contest. And Brandon Starcevic.
If he had took him on, Pricey, he would have got done for holding the ball.
Umpire throws it up on the arc at left half forward for Port Adelaide. Off hand, Swan Francis gathers. That was well done just to get a kick away. It's up and down the chimney though. Inside 50, Fletcher can't pick it up. Lukosius shot a handball away. Willie Rioli, very clever kick off the ground. Boak flicks it up to Rosie. 45 out under pressure. It's a high ball. Goes to the pocket. Harris Andrews advantage by it. Lukosius just got rid of him. That was crude. And it's a free kick against Jack Lukosius. It'll go to Harris Andrews in the left back pocket for Brisbane.
He's Michael Price on Quentin Hull. Matt Primus and Jason Ackermanis with you as well at the Gabba. It's Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport. Radaglia with a hamstring, Powell Pepper the knee, Visentini the ankle. Powell with 2 on the bench. It's been a tough night for them. But they're fighting on here, and Rosie's taken a mark of the errant inbound kick there from Andrews. Rosie marks it right half forward, 60 from Port's goal. Chips to the pocket. Horn Francis the target. Neal does enough to spoil. Rode by Zorko, Brisbane ball. Hands it to Berry. Clearing kick from half back to the wing. Pitches in front of the contest between Zirk, Thatcher and Morris. Ricochets out of play for a boundary throw-in. It's Brisbane 15-10-100. Port 11-6-72. 5.5 minutes played final term on a gorgeous night at the Gabba.
Sam Day's just taken a seat at the back of the bench. Looks like Darcy Gardner's warming up. No official notification yet, but we'll keep an eye on that as Darcy Gardner is standing up. He's just taken the training shirt off.
Yeah, one possession for Sam Day, so probably worth the change.
Yeah, those nights as the conditions get on, he just hasn't been able to clunk him and been really good in that one-on-one. He's been beaten all night by his opponent, no matter who it was.
Meantime, we've had a throw in. It was belted straight back over the boundary line. Throw in now at right half forward for Brisbane. Fort versus Sweet. It's been an interesting battle. That one I'll give to Sweet. It went to Boak, who's had a brilliant night, the veteran. He's tried very hard. Now that's the indiscriminate handball from Rosie. It was cut off by Lockie Neal, who was tackled. Then just got to his feet too easily for mine. Went to Ashcroft after that. He gave it back to Dunkley, who was scragged off the ball, and it's going to be a free kick whistle on play. It's going to go to Will Ashcroft on the boundary line, just short of centre wing. He flares it to the right to find Fletcher. Fletcher even further right across half-back to Answorth.
And confirmation, tactical sub activated by Brisbane. Day out of the game and Gardner coming in for a run in this last quarter. McCluggage receives the pass, edge of the centre square, kicks around the... free kick. Kick it bounced to Neal, but free kick, he infringed on Byrne Jones of Port. Right half-back for the Power. Short kick towards the bullseye. Wines takes the mark. Will play on with a kick out wide to the half-forward flank. Rosie takes the grab. Kick and a half from goal. Between wing and right half-forward. Rosie kicks around the pocket. Georgiades. Strong hands in front of Andrews to mark. Again, very wide, Jason. This time on the other side. They've been going left flank or left pocket. This one's right flank.
Right flank, yeah, that's not the tactic. They are clearly doing something to create that space, and they've been kicking him. That's unusual. Matty, just the intensity of Port and the tackling pressure.
Yeah.
The Lions aren't moving. They aren't getting any intensity, let alone on offense, just running away when they've got the ball to create space.
It's a Port reference. He's in Robbie Gray's pocket, ladies and gentlemen. Remember when he kicked the goal to beat Carlton after the hooter all those years ago? And guess what? Guess what? He's done what Robbie Gray did that day. Slotted it from the Lions Social Club half-forward flank. That keeps Port in it. They are like the Terminator in this game, Pricey. They just won't die. They just won't die. 2-1 in the quarter for Port. And it's a 22-point lead for Brisbane. Georgiades has 3. Brisbane 15-10, 100 to Port's 12-6-78.
It's a great call, Q. I forgot about that one. I thought it was the other pocket down here, but what a finish. But they are forcing them wide. It's because they're holding on the ball and Brisbane are getting numbers back. The only space is out in the boundary line, and they've kicked 3 beauties from that area there, whether that's sustainable or not. But they're showing great heart here. They're winning the clearances, contested ball in the last quarter. Their ability to be able to maintain this style of play for the next 30 minutes or the next 20 minutes is what's going to see if they can do that. But it's a great 5 or 6 minutes for them.
Yeah. 41 goals for the year now. Timothy Georgiades, 22 points the margin. This clearance, Horn Francis did beautifully, arced around the back, long kick inside 50. Harris Andrews in the front position yet. Well called, accurate. It was a free kick. Georgiades arrived late.
I think he had his foot firmly placed right at the back of that unfortunate-looking jumper.
As Harris Andrews laconically delivers 20 metres forward to Will Ashcroft. Looping handball now.
Yes.
Gives it to Fletcher. Has a bounce. Runs straight through the middle. Long kick inside 50. It snuck up on Sin and hit him in the face. He actually did beautifully take the mark. Now he flares it to the wing, or just short of, and finds Jordan Sweet in front of Fort.
22 points to lead to Brisbane. 2-1 to Port in this term. Sweet hits Burgoyne on the wing. Kick infield, intercepted by Dunkley of Brisbane. Tapped it to the advantage of Morris. Lions ball on the wing. Kick inside 50. Alir arrives late to spoil away from Lohman. An important touch from the Port defender to get it out of play for a throw-in on attacking 50 for Brisbane.
Oh, he nearly had to sit there. Yeah. His eyes would have lit up like dinner plates. But that's a good hand there, Lear. He loves that.
Great athleticism, isn't it?
These little turnovers in here, these little 45 turnovers, that's going to cost them.
And that's the sound of the Gabba faithful finally getting a little restless, realising, hold on, we haven't killed this game yet. Neal's clearing kick is intercepted by Sweet. Port ping off half-back. Hands through Rosie to Boak, now to the wing. It's Jackson handing it to half-forward for Byrne Jones. Deep kick Georgiades marks uncontested in the left forward pocket, 25 metres out.
Wow.
Another one from Ben.
Transfer play down here.
Yeah.
Matty, just coming off the back of that stop is 5.
Great link up, wasn't it? Yep.
They are all duck, no dinner. They are throwing everything at this Q.
Georgiades already has 3. This would make the margin 16 points. 11 minutes into the final term. 2 steps infield. Perfectly executed right foot snap. This is bold from the boys from Alberton. 2 on the bench. 3 injured players against the reigning premiers on their deck. 23 minutes third term down by 40. 11 minutes fourth term down by 16.
Don't worry about who's not here, Matty.
I loved Sweet's composure. He won the ball. Normally Rucks will get it and hack kick it or just chop it forward, but he actually had some composure to run and draw, and then Rosie was able to get the ball. Whenever the ball's in his hand, off half-back flank, things happen. And that was a great running link up to Boak, and then the kick inside 50 because Burne-Jones had nothing to kick to, but he able to pull it left, and then another amazing finish from the boundary line.
Again, wide. Wide. Georgiades, they know where to run and they know where to kick. That makes it a bit easier.
Rosie and Butters have had 17 score involvements between them.
Fantastic young players.
Pretty handy draft, that one, the 2018 draft. Yes. We're back into the middle. We've slapped down Eric Hipwood in the ruck now to give Ford a chop out, and it comes off the hands of Dunkley now. He gave it with nice handball to Berry. Berry flares it out to the outer wing to find Darcy Gardner, the activated sub for Brisbane. He kicks it into the pocket. Rayner did well, couldn't quite take the mark. Rosie again. Another looping handball outside of defensive 50. It bounced around. Now, what was that? It was a downfield free kick, so it's going to be Travis Boak. Just outside the arc at right half-back for Port Adelaide. They're only trailing by 16 points to Power.
Boak with his right boot. A high kick along the southern wing. Andrews at the front of the pack for Brisbane, couldn't mark. Rove by Jackson, the Port sub. Grubbing kick to half forward, creative. It's picked up by Horne-Francis. He shrugs the tackle of Starcevic, but the kick is intercepted. Yet marked by Leicester. Late manhandling and 50-metre penalty for the veteran.
They're trying to bend the rules here, Port, which they should. Kenny would love it, being a couple of men down, but who cares about that?
So Leicester marched to the centre of the Gabba with that 50-metre penalty.
It's got to get the ball inside 50 or get it deep here. They just can't hold it in.
He's heard you, Matt. It's a long, deep kick from Leicester to a pack. 2 on 2. No mark. Roved by Bailey of Brisbane. And Fletcher, is it? Levi Ashcroft on the scrimmage, on the edge of the square, kicks it through. After that munged kick from Bailey didn't have the penetration. So Brisbane does find an answer, albeit a little bit messy. And Levi Ashcroft kicks a goal. Brisbane back out by 22. A much needed goal for the locals. 13 and a half into the final term line. 16-10, 106. For the Powers, 13-6-84.
Chaos footy there, Matty. And then just a nice little crumb, but you never know. They're just so good if they get just their numbers around the ball. A bit of intensity. Nice goal from Levi. I'd be very happy with that. Tonight.
The crowd has been posted at 30,017.
17.
30017.
I reckon that's the third goal Brisbane have scored off an errant free kick and or 50-metre penalty.
And 17 of those people tonight came to hear me and Matty.
You idiot. It comes off hands. That's Jason Ackermanis, by the way. Handball from Ollie Wines to Horne-Francis. Inside 50. Oh, mark! Well done, Lukosius, the double grabber in front of Harris Andrews. That is no mean feat. He takes it 45 out, 45-degree angle to the left.
Well, he will have a shot. He's not even bothering. He's already been on fire. He's had 3 from those deep.
On return, he's kicked 3 goals. First game since round 2.
He's only played, this is his third game for Port Adelaide. He'd only scored the 1 goal in his first 2. Again, distance not an issue for Jack Lukosius. He'll let this go from outside the arc. He does so. Once again, strikes it sweetly, but it's left. All the way left and one behind just. 106 plays, 85. It is a 21-point margin in favour of the Lions, and we've played 15 minutes of this final term at the Gabba.
Just the intensity coming from the Lions is starting to match them.
First miss from Lukosius, 3 goals, 1. Fletcher short inbound. Ainsworth marks in the right back pocket, hands it back to Fletcher. forward of the goal mouth, kicks it to right half back, precise kick. Wilmot takes the mark for Brisbane. And do the Lions just sort of tempo it from here? What do they do to try and...
They're coming.
Yeah.
Coming. They've just got to find the gaps and see. They're going one-on-one here, Port. That's really good defence, but can they last?
Wilmot infield on the 45, chip to Rayner, who marks it still at right half back. Now we've kicked down the line to a contest. Lockie Jones in front of the leaping Lohman, and Lohman gave away the free kick over the shoulder.
These umpires, honestly, let the game go.
Jones plays on with a chip to the wing. Burgoyne drops the mark under late arriving pressure from Levi Ashcroft. Burgoyne gets it to his boot, just ineffective kick though. Rayner slides near the boundary line to take the mark. Brisbane has it just forward of right half back, and they've got the lead by 21 points, 16 into the final term.
That kick, well done again, Port, just showing a lot of intent. Butters, beautifully done to Drew. Drew into the corridor to find Rosie. Off there. That was well done in the end. It got back to...
Richards chipped it.
It was Richards chipping it inside, and it was cut off there by Jasper Fletcher.
Yeah.
He goes to right half back now to Ainsworth.
They need this run here, the Lions. They need to get some movement, get out of the space, and just give them some options to kick it.
He's at right half back. He didn't know which way to go, left or right, so he goes straight down the line. Archie spoiled, in fact, by Lohman. He gathered the ball. He actually threw it under the pressure from Horton Francis. Horton Francis got the free kick anyway. Footy God spoke. It went to Butters, back inside to Richards, who's had a good couple of minutes.
Right on halfway, Richards. Port trailing by 21 points, kicks it inside 50, and Boakes marked it. 45 out, drifting back with the flight. He's straight in front, Travis Boak.
Terminators.
Oh, and what a player. What a player. 19th season, 36 years of age. If you don't mind in your 380th game for the club, could you just keep us in another one? Unbelievable, Matt.
Yeah, he's a superstar person, and an amazing career. This will be right on his journey too, those legs.
21 the lead to Brisbane. Boat with his right boot. He's missed it to the right. Oh, didn't miss by much. Just got the journey, just missed to the right. Just 20 the lead to Brisbane.
I know you're not supposed to. You're almost barracking for that kick to go through.
Yeah.
It's, what a magnificent player he's been over the journey.
Come on, get a go.
So Brisbane bring it back in. As Levi Ashcroft puts it back inside defensive 50 to find Harris Andrews. Now he goes back to Levi Ashcroft at right half back just outside the arc. So they're waxing a little here.
Yeah, well, they've done well to pin them. They've forced them long down the line the last 3 times, and then they'll go back in their face here, and they've done it again.
Meanwhile, Hawks by 26 points at Docklands. They've got the Saints measured by the looks there.
Levi kicks to the wing on this Vulture Street side, off hands. It goes all the way back to halfback to Levi Ashcroft. Tries to dainty little chip towards Archie. Overcooked the kick. It bounces over the boundary line for a throw in.
There, Levi. Hamble.
So 9 minutes left at Docklands. Hawthorn 13-8-86. St Kilda 8-12-60.
St Kilda win.
Jason's making the big calls tonight. There's 8 minutes left here. Brisbane lead by 20.
But no chance. They can't score.
Boundary throw in. Sweet with the tap for Port. No rover. Crashing through Butters, tries to make it his own, got rid of it, lost it though. Neil for Brisbane comes away, hands it to Bailey, hands it to McCluggage on halfway. This could be the killer blow building. Hand pass to Ashcroft, hand pass to Archie, chip inside 50, marked by Gardner. Gardner squares it up to Bailey. Marks it straight in front, 20 metres out.
That is a run and carry. They are giving everything.
First time though, this quarter that they've done that. That's what's killed Port all night when they've been able to do that. But a bit of Port are not allowing them. But I don't reckon they've asked enough questions. Geez, they're hard to stop when they play like that.
Well, they've had 3 key injuries and Port's only got 2 on the bench. And Brisbane has basically needed until the 20-minute mark of the final term to kill it off. You'd think if Bailey kicks this, he's kicking for a 4th. No angle, 25 out, does the job. Kicks the goal. That probably has broken Port Adelaide's resistance here at the Gabba and continues Brisbane's platform of another double chance. Crack in September. It's Brisbane 17-10, 112 to Port 13-8, 86.
More chance as we don't roll out the fat lady anymore, but we will send Pricey downstairs. He's way fitter than the fat lady used to be, but he can't sing. But again, the Lions, to their credit, I think Port's pressure has been unbelievable.
And their goal kicking. I think they kicked 11 goals 3 from their set shots, and they missed their last 2 set shots, and eventually they weren't able to keep those amazing shots going, and Brisbane were going to get one back. But yeah, let's hope for their sake they hang on here for the last 6 or 7 minutes and make sure this score stays close enough.
So we're back into the middle. Darcy Fort back into the ruck. Wins this tap. It's hacked out of there by Lockneil. Gets to the arc of 50. Well picked up there by Sin. The handball forward to Drew. Drew's handball back into the corridor to Ollie Wines, putting him under all sorts of pressure. He let loose the ball. So Drew went back and tried to fix it, but it's a free kick. Going to come back, and there was a trip. Zach Bailey was taken around the leg and just forward to the centre circles. He'll gather the ball, and just about every player on the paddock's getting in front of him as he goes long inside 50, looking for Hipwood. Body work. Well done. Look, he had Travis Boak basically cooked. He had the advantage side, got him underneath the ball and took a good one clunk mark 30 metres out, more or less directly in front.
He does like that. He does like playing against his team. I've said it all night, Eric. That said, free kick there. He had options aplenty here, Bailey. He's probably got confused as that many, but good mark. We like to see Eric, if you're a Brisbane fan, getting up there, taking strong marks. He's had a few weeks where he's just been a lot of defensive pressure, no goals. But this week, perhaps, just perhaps, he's going to kick a few more.
He's coming in. He's gone off the long run too, Eric Hipwood. Comes in looking for his second. Barely hit foot. 1 point. So it's 113 to play, 86. It is a 27-point margin. 22 gone, final term. Port Adelaide play on quickly.
And a long inbound towards the wing. Georgiades takes the mark, just defensive side thereof.
Oh, they're running fast.
Plays on with a long kick to half foot. Horn Francis with the flight. Great mark. He had Darcy Fort coming towards him. Plays on Horn Francis. Kick lets him down though. Missed the target of Wines. Stolen by Loman of Brisbane in the centre. Hands it to Neil. Hands it to Hipwood. Hands to Bailey. Runs to 50. He wants 5. He's got 5.
He burned Charlie too. Charlie was 40 metres on his own in front of him, but glad he did.
And why not go for it, Jason?
So he should.
Why not go for it? Zach Bailey. His career best is 6. He kicked that against the Suns a couple of years ago. This is his second best as far as goals are concerned. 5 goals for Zach Bailey, and the lead for Brisbane is the number he wears on his back. It's 33 points.
Nice work.
Well done, Hugh.
Add up that. I love these songs.
Silence is almost like a nod of the head from Jason, isn't it?
Oh, indeed.
I have no doubt that Bailey does not even have this song on his playlist, but he knows what the crowd likes.
25 touches, 600 metres gained, 5 goals won.
Yeah, that's handy.
7 inside 50. I don't know who you're giving your votes to, Wacker, but...
You're laughing. 5 goals won. That's 3 votes anyway.
Back into the middle of the Gabba. The Lions just about iced this one as Darcy Fort slaps it towards the outer wing. Picked up by Ollie Wines. Battled on hard for Port Adelaide this evening. His sky ball was tracked backwards and taken by Zorko. Zorko long beyond the wing. That's a good grab taken by Darcy Fort. Jordan Sweets had a good battle with Darcy Fort tonight in the ruck. I think he's edged Fort out in the hit-outs, but Fort's been a little bit more useful around the ground. That kick a little adventurous back to the corridor, cleaned up by Wilmot. The handball forward to Dunkley, just forward to the centre circles, inside 50. Levi Ashcroft back of the pack. Charlie Cameron Roves tries to brush one tackler off, got the handball away. It's taken there by Ashcroft. Will back to Bailey. He wanted 6. He tried to get through the tackles and eventually got a handball away. Cameron tackled off it there by Sin. And now there's a high shot, and it's going to be another shot on goal for Brisbane. It's Levi Ashcroft taken above the shoulders. About 40 metres out, 45-degree angle to the right.
The tackling has been super. I can't believe Ollie's complaining about. What do you mean? That just got a little bit high? That was high.
I think the 3 before he was saying they should have been holding the ball, but that's too strong.
I think they just held up. Those tackles just didn't quite stick.
Yeah, exactly. They were still moving, weren't they, in the tackle?
So Levi Ashcroft, hasn't he had something of a first year in AFL football, the number 5 draft pick from last year, the father-son. Let's go from 45, and you give him a rap and he kicks a sack. Didn't even get to the distance. Off hands, it's taken by Archie. Now it's Port Adelaide. They'll escape defence and kick it long down to the outer side. Georgiades spoiled towards the boundary line. That's a great effort, and it would have hurt Mitch Georgiades there too.
It's
over the boundary line.
It's Leicester.
Oh, he does that to you, doesn't he?
Still arriving late in the game, Ryan Leicester.
How old's he now? 40?
Ryan Leicester is 32. He's playing, I think, his 14th season.
No, he's got plenty to go.
Yeah. Boundary throw in on the outer side. Fought with a tap, but it's roved by Rosie. Hands it, it was Butters to Rosie. Hands it back to Butters as they run the wing. Hands it to Wine, 60 out at half forward. Chips inside 50 to Rioli, who marks it. And that's a lovely piece of moving footy off the stoppage from Port.
Oh, again, and they win the ball and they spread the lack of pressure. Brisbane can and should stop that, but the way that they just get and run, they're taking the intensity out of it. They've got some energy tonight. I think Ken will be happy with that.
Willie Rioli, 2 goals tonight. Slight angle right, 45 out. It's a very relaxed and pure kicking style. He slammed that through with no manner of fuss. 3 goals for Rioli. Port trail by 27. It's Brisbane 18-11, 119 to the Powers 14-8, 92. And if you are just tuning in, that news outside of the scoreboard tonight is all bad for Port in the injury ward. Knee injury for Sam Powell-Pepper, which looks serious. A hamstring injury for Asava Radagalia. And young ruckman Dante Vicentini did his ankle early in the game. So 3 injuries to go with the inability to take the 4 premiership points here tonight for Port, Michael.
But they haven't stopped. They just have not stopped, Port Adelaide.
They will take their pride back to Alberton, that's for sure, after tonight.
Yeah, indeed. So they should. Perfect bounce. Slapped down by Jordan Sweet, who's filled in admirably after Vicentini was taken out early in this game. Comes off hands, though. Lockneil gave it to Dunkley by hand down to Will Ashcroft. Sizzles a pass. Charlie Cameron rises in front of Farrell and takes a good chest mark. Very difficult for the defender in that case. It was a great pass.
Charlie's just got behind him, Pricey, and he just read the kick. He knows his teammate well enough. That little left foot from Ashcroft, not the biggest kicker, who was coming in under pressure. Charlie just read it supreme.
So he only had 14 goals, 16 prior to tonight. Charlie Cameron, he's already got 3. He'll let go from just inside the 50. And he flares it to the right, 1 behind. 120 plays 92. It's a 28-point margin in favour of Brisbane. 28 minutes gone in the final term. ABC Sport on a Saturday night.
If you want to be picky for the premiers, the old culprits at it again. Hipwood and Cameron missing kicks they should have kicked in the last quarter. Centre of the ground, Burn Jones from the long inbound wins the ball, hands it to Butters, deep kick. Georgiades top of the goal square, couldn't mark, taps it to the advantage of Richards, who's in the pocket, finds a way to get onto his right boot and kick it on the head of Lukosius. Didn't pay the mark, he dropped it, gets it back, hands it to Burn Jones, his snap is across the face and misses everything. It's out of bounds on the full.
Wow.
Out of bounds on the full.
Everything but kick it, Matty. Absolutely. They had 4 guys. Go. You kick it. No, you kick it. No, all right. I'll kick. Oh.
Brisbane will roll along here. An 11th victory almost locked away. So either side of the bye, they've gone back to back. And they've got Carlton, the ailing Blues at Docklands next week. Inbound from the pocket for the Lions. Marked by Dunkley at left half back, who continues to just play roles wherever Chris Fagan puts him. I love the way that he's now sort of, instead of resting him on the bench, he's putting him up forward a bit.
Yeah, he can mark the ball, have shots on goal.
In the absence of Danaher, there's that extra marking weapon. Zorko kicks to the wing, buries the target as he paid the mark. Yep, right near your old teammate Alistair Lynch, who's the sole member of the paid television broadcast in attendance tonight. Box next to us is vacant again.
Yeah, I did again with him yesterday. He meant
short pass from Berry to McCluggage, marks it on the wing, and time is counting down at the Gabba. It's been a thoroughly entertaining affair, one where Port will go back home licking their wounds with injured men. They've tried hard, but the Premiers have been too good. And how's this? The song starts playing, even though Darcy Wilmot says, I've taken a mark and I want to have a kick from 70 with a talk.
Oh!
And he's absolutely, well, left it about 15 metres short.
Pretty good, though.
But that is a big no ball from the PA on the play button.
Right.
That was overstepping before the end of the game.
It'll be at the tribunal that you and I will be at this week, the ABC.
And because we have to call the contest, we've talked over the top of the first remnants of the song.
Yeah.
So I'll give you the score. Brisbane won by 28 points, even though Darcy Wilmot tried to add to it, but couldn't after the song had started playing. So it's the kind of night that it's been. Entertainment at every area. And now Lions fans, sing the second verse of the song. All that John Denver's gone to the DJ's head. He's taken his cues before the footy.
I reckon he thought because the first quarter went so long, he's like, I got to get out of here. I'm starting it now. Trying to get some time back.
I've had enough. Brisbane, 18-12, 120. Port Adelaide, 14-8, 92. Lions by 32 at quarter time, 21 at half time, 28 at three-quarter time, and 28 in the end. But on a couple of occasions, Port got within striking distance in that last quarter. They did get as close as 16. But in the end, the Lions are now 11 wins, 1 draw and 4 losses. With Carlton next up, and Port, as we said at the start, going up Alpe d'Huez, they're at the strugglers at the back of the peloton. Something's going to have to go right real quick for the Power to stay in touch in 2025 from here. They're now 7 wins and 9 losses. West Coast at home next week.
Yep, no worries.
That's a big opportunity for them. Hawthorn in Launceston just after that. That being said, good timing. The Hawks have just sealed out a 20-point victory over St Kilda. Final scoreline there at Docklands. Hawthorn 14-10, 94 over the Saints 10-14, 74. Stick around, we'll get into the rooms. Plenty of wrap-up to come. If you've got a thought, we'd love to hear from you on 0437 774 774. That's 0437 774 774. Please send us your name and where you're texting from. To the neutral eye, which is where I sit, gentlemen, that was just a really buzzing, entertaining game of footy. What about the footy nuff? Let's break it down. The winning and the losing of it, Matt Primus and Jason Ackermanis.
Oh, you're exactly right. I loved it. High scoring. I think that's the first time Brisbane had kicked over 100 points at the Gabba for this year. So, an outstanding first quarter. And then sometimes those games when it looks like it's going to be a blowout can turn boring, but that kept us engaged. Port kept on asking questions. Brisbane weren't able to quite answer it on certain times. They were brave, but the ball was able to bounce up and back. There was some great contest in between the arcs. It was a terrific game to watch and call. To see some guys, obviously McCluggage had a terrific game, but Zach Bailey's game, and then I thought Rosie and Butters for the opposition and Port Adelaide, obviously, their games half back and on ball was outstanding. But a thoroughly good game to watch. As a fan, you'd love to come and watch that style of footy every week.
And some of the goals from Port, going down in the pocket, on the junctions, the coaches, they'd be very happy to have him back and kicking long bombs as they know he can, but just to even have him in the squad kicking that couple of goals late. But there were your words of entertaining, and it wasn't just entertaining on the offense. It was, if you're a coach,
tough footy,
so good.
Yep.
That Port Adelaide, if they play like that on defence, they're going to cause a lot of turnovers, and they're going to win games. Obviously, they're going to have nights where they're going to come up against opposition and have 3 injuries. So there's a lot to like about it, and Kenny should go away thinking, you know what? It's not the end of the world. We want our best team out there, but it doesn't always work that way.
I'll give you the goal kickers. Zach Bailey finished with 5 for Brisbane, so that's the second best return in front of goal in his career. 5 goals for Zach Bailey. Charlie Cameron kicked 3 goals. Again, just one of those nights where he doesn't do much other than kick a couple of goals, but he's doing that part of his job.
Put pressure on people, don't worry. He's just doing other things, but it's not.
Anyway,
getting the benefit of his teammates' good work. It's a game.
Single goal kickers: Lohman, Archie, Dunkley, McCluggage. A pair of Ashcrofts. Will kicked a goal. Levi kicked a goal. Neil kicked a goal. So too Morris, Hipwood, and Fort. So big 5 to Bailey, 3 to Cameron, and then a good spread.
How many is that? All, goal kickers all up, Q?
That is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Oh, that's
12 goal kickers, 6 for 18 goals.
That's
pretty good. That's pretty good.
Wow. Georgiades kicked 4, so he's up to 42 for the year.
Amazing year, isn't it?
Yeah, 3 for Rioli, 3 for Lukosius. That was a really positive sign.
Yep.
Third game for the club, showing his value. As we said, get Todd Marshall fit as well, and Josh Carr might have some really nice chess pieces to work with in the forward half for Port in years to come.
Josh Carr couldn't kick really that.
Powell Pepper kicked 2 goals before he went off with a knee injury. Horn Francis and Richards also kicked single goals. So knee for Powell Pepper, and just again that image that I was able to see as one of the Lions was lining up for goal. Powell Pepper limped off. He had a couple of run-throughs. He was desperate to try and get his leg moving again, and then the reality hit him. So he put his head down into his hands, and Travis Boak was sitting next to him on the bench and put an arm around him. I hope there's a still image of it somewhere. It was just one of those great moments of camaraderie in footy. And unfortunately, Asava Radaglia, he went out, what was that, second quarter or first quarter as well?
First quarter.
First quarter with a hammy, yeah.
That early.
And Vicentini was basically 10 minutes into the game.
Very early, yep.
With a rolled ankle in a ruck contest. So 30,017 fans in to see it. And as mentioned, Port 7 and 9, West Coast next, then Hawthorn in Tassie before the showdown.
Wow, that's some run.
Boy, if they win their next 2.
Yeah, you get on a roll.
Showdown will be fun. Brisbane have got Carlton at the Docklands, and then the Western Bulldogs here.
It's a
tough game to lose.
The bye. It's the bye.
Just for Q. Threw it in.
Oh, man, they've been terrible.
Yeah, Centre Square has been roped off. I think we're going to get the charge of the Light Brigade shortly for kick to kick, and Michael Price, as ever, putting in extra for the team tonight. He's gone down to the Brisbane rooms, and we'll get some reaction there shortly. So Docklands, 20 points was the winning margin for Hawthorn. Hawks 14-10, 94 to the Saints.
Sorry, mate.
10-14, 74.
23 people in the centre square. Security, police, bouncing. 23.
They won't be able to. Did you see how slippery it was in that game? It was very slippery.
Sounds like something's coming from the Brisbane rooms.
You can see
he's got there quick, Pricey, hasn't he?
Oh.
Are you there, Pricey? Call him in.
Yes, I am, Q. And
that was quick, Pricey.
Well, look, I'm a fit man for my age. There's no doubt about that. But having a look at the Lions, they're still gathering now. They're just about to form the circle. You can sense a lot of relief here, but there's joy as well. You know, Dane Zorko's got an extremely happy look on his face as they close the circle now. They're just about to start the song. False start. Here we go. Yeah, that's a palpable sense of relief there. There's high fives and hugs all the way around. Hopefully we're linking up with Zach Bailey very shortly, guys.
Oh, see, Mike, send you to the rooms and you get the bloke that's going to get BOG with 5 goals.
Oh, well, he's called it. He's called it, Price.
He's good, isn't he? He's good. If you've got a thought, 0437 774 774 is the number to get in touch. 0437 774 774. Janine She's listening in from Iceland. She texts, great game, Lions, great call, boys. Aka with question marks. I don't know what that means, Jason.
If you're in Iceland, you probably, the sun will be up. It'll be nice long days. You got 3 hours of cold.
Go Lions, Teps. Amo from Dandenong, thanks for the call.
Oh, there's someone from Honduras before we go down there with the pricey, far more interesting. But Iceland, I'll see you over there, I'm sure.
Iceland and Honduras. Meanwhile, here's the guy that kicked 5 goals tonight, down with Michael Price.
Yeah, I'm down here with Zach Bailey, mate. 1 for the thumb, 5 for the night. It must be feeling pretty good with that.
Yeah, it was good to put in a good performance. I was saying earlier, I haven't really been that accurate this year, so to put a couple through was pretty nice, and to get the win was awesome.
After the week off with the bye, obviously the great win against Geelong, just a perfect start, really. The first quarter after they got a couple on you, you really put the pedal down.
Yeah, we probably started a little bit slow and then really got going. I think they lost a few tools, so they started to try and chip through us, and we really needed to sort of lock in on our defence, and when we did that, we were able to get looks. So it was a really good performance.
I think it was all round, but were you concerned when they just wouldn't go away? They were like the Terminator. You couldn't kill them off.
I guess we were a little bit, but we knew what we needed to fix. As soon as we fixed their short kick game, we were able to get turnovers and score back the other way. So we knew what we had to fix, and we were composed and able to do it.
Okay, we'll send you up to the box. We've got Quentin Hull, Jason Ackermanis and Matthew Primus.
Well done, Zach. Very strong performance from the team. How did you spend your bye? What was front of mind for you?
For me, it was just a bit of a refresher. Got up the Sunshine Coast for a bit and played a little bit of golf. I love my golf, so that was pretty much me. It was a pretty chilled bye.
Where'd you play? Zach, just a minute. Where'd you play? What course?
I played at Noosa, and I don't really want to talk about it because it wasn't really a great performance.
Noosa Springs?
Yeah, Noosa Springs.
I'll play.
You know how it is.
Wednesday with one of the members. Oh, I love that course.
Can I do a little bit more football before we do golf?
We'll get to football. Yeah. Did you just hit a lot in the water?
Yeah, a lot in the water, a lot of Aussie chains. So I think I had 14 points for the day. So, yeah.
Course 14?
One I want to forget about.
I don't realise, course, both did Q school their course management. You need to hit 5 irons, not drive it everywhere.
For those that aren't golfers and don't know the Stableford system, if you play to your handicap, you get 36 points.
Yes,
so he had 14. Well,
I'll raise the bat.
You needed 5 goals. You needed 5 goals for your confidence, Zach.
Yeah, it was a bit like that.
Okay.
So. And Jason made a point just before the game. We were talking about, awesome performance in Geelong, a little bit of average against GWS. We've seen the hot and cold, but Jay sort of said before the call, Brisbane have been very reliable post-bye the last few years. Sure, you had a couple of hiccups late last year.
Yeah.
So, within the 4 walls of the footy club, when you get the shorter turnarounds from all your finals, you have all that experience. Just tell us about the dynamic of what happens now. The big boy month sort of headlines come out from down the road. We know that things start to really set up. You're perfectly placed on the ladder. So what goes on inside the 4 walls to get things cherry ripe from here?
Well, for us, we just take the 2 weeks to just look at where we're at as a whole and then make any improvements that we need to make. We know that we probably didn't start the year... we had the ladder results, but we probably weren't playing our best footy, so there were areas we needed to improve. So we spent the bye week looking at those and come back and we want to fix those. And we know that last year we sort of went on a bit of a run post-bye, and the good teams do. The good teams that want to go deep into finals need to do that. So, for us, just continuing to sort of play our best footy and try to do that. And, take each week as it comes, and if we end up top 4, then that's the result. We're not too focused on sort of whether we want to finish first, second, third. We're just worried about each week as it comes.
And as the year progresses, you've had a few challenges sort of finding the avenue to goal with a major structural difference without Joe, and then the ruck's been different because Oscar's not been there.
Yeah.
So, what are the things that are starting to come to fruition in that regard?
Logan Morris has stepped up and kicked a few big bags the last couple of weeks. I think one of our strengths as a group is just our ability to... Anyone can pop up at any time. We got so many dangerous forwards down there that are able to kick a bag on their day. So I think someone was saying we had 12 or 13 goal kickers today. So I feel like that's one of our strengths. And
That was going to be my question, Zach. You did have 12 goal kickers today, so the ability for you smalls to bob up if the talls aren't, but also your mids and wingers, they can hit the scoreboard, especially when you're really on top of your game.
Yeah, McLuggage and Lockie Neal can kick goals. They never kick goals.
Never. I think Huey gets a fair few shots.
Yeah, he does get some shots.
Actually, it was pretty funny. We were talking about we're kicking a few points at the moment, so we might start celebrating the points. So at half-time when Huey missed that one, Harrow ran over to him and celebrated.
He would have taken
Better get a song for your points, mate.
Here's a curly one for you, Zach. From here on in, and you know we've been on this ride since the 2019 finals breakthrough. There are a couple of seasons where we thought, okay, well, experience and maybe durability might be a question for Brisbane. Now we've got to the point where really it seems it's a matter of, well, are you fit? Are you up for it and ready? So how much of what's going to happen in the next 3 months of the season is above the shoulders compared to the injury ward or the fitness of the group?
No, I think we're a pretty young group, I think, so youngish group, so I think that our durability is good, apart from Zorko here.
But you know what I'm saying? early on, you were
too deep for it.
No, the Lions are a young team not used to playing long seasons.
No, but they get better, you see, every year. They get a little bit better,
I think we've sort of been around the finals mark the sort of last 4 or 5 years, so I think we got plenty of experience there. So I don't think that's when we get there that'll be a surprise for us. I think we sort of know what to do in finals, and especially coming off last year, we know we can do it. We know our best footy stands up. So
how do you feel?
Jace, give me a sec. So what I'm going to finish this. I'll let you talk to Zach.
Talk about.
I want you to talk to Zach about the difference of when you've done it to when you want to do it again. That's what I was trying to get at.
I know what you're getting to, but what about, can you ask him at 5 goals won, do you feel like that's one of your your best game? Is that your best game?
I'd probably say so, I think I kicked 6 against Gold Coast a few years back, but I think someone was saying that it was my highest rated game so far, so that was
how many metres was it? Oh no, Matty's just got off, but it was in
594 games.
594 metres gained as well as 5 goals won. So he's doing it up the field and he's kicking goals.
So entertain me, you two. To finish it up, Zach, we appreciate your time. Jace, talk to Zach about what it's like once you've done it and you get to this point of the year, and what do you need to do right to try and do it again?
I don't care how you feel. I don't care what you do. He's doing it. He's doing it as good as everyone else. So I'm not going to say anything. You just keep bloody doing it.
Yeah, thanks for your wisdom.
I tried to go but you know what it's like, Zach. Sometimes
footballers don't need that, mate.
Well played today, mate. Well played, and good luck against the Blues.
Well, great game. Great game.
See you guys.
Bone? No. He's a ripper. He's a ripper, isn't he?
And he is.
Matt, can you help me out here? You know, so this is the question now for Brisbane, outside of injuries, i.e. there's a bit of different structure going on.
Yep.
And, you know, it's the great intangible as a fan. We don't know what it feels like to be within the group that's climbed the mountain. I mean, have you got the Hillary appetite? Do you want to climb the mountain again?
They have. You're not sitting second on the ladder if you haven't. If they were 6th or 7th and battling away a bit, but they've got the appetite to do it. And I reckon as we get closer to the finals, I reckon they're going to string some really good games together, like the Geelong game, but they'll have back-to-back of those ones where they really dominate teams for 3.5 quarters, because no one wins for 4 quarters, but I reckon they'll really get going.
Where have you got them in the premiership pecking order right now? Brisbane.
Just behind the Pies.
Yeah, if you had to say right now, it'd be grand final should be Brisbane.
So no Geelong, no Greater Western Sydney.
I'm not saying there's only 2 teams. I can only pick 2.
Yeah,
Giants.
And I'm biased.
Giants have got to make
Giants
it.
are great. Giants got to make
it. But
Geelong are great.
No, Hawthorn, Geelong, but I think these two are clearly Collingwood's maturity and winning it 2 years ago, and they look pretty good at the moment.
On the text, by the way, 0437 774 774. Matt from Melbourne texts, the Lions recapturing their finals form from 2024. I don't think they want to go anywhere near that finals form of 2024 because they got lucky last year.
They
got lucky.
You don't want to come from behind again in the 2 of the games, but
they had to get back. I mean, Fags is going to step down like in the middle of last year. People don't understand what's going on. There's a whole lot of doubt and self-doubt, and then they just got a bit of confidence in themselves and got their game rolling. Now it's a different season. Everything's different. There's no predetermined winner. You're going to have to earn it again. You're not a defending champ. You're actually going to win another one.
Yeah, and what I'm trying to get with this sort of wrap-up, they've built a premiership and fluked a flag last year.
Don't say that. You can't say that.
No,
you can't say they fluked it.
I say that.
I know what you mean. You don't undersell that. That was an amazing sequence. They're a great team that came and they got the win. GWS are always going to give you a chance. You know, they're playing football. But you're saying on the second one, are you saying they need? No, if they give another one that they're a better team.
It's lazy alliteration to tell the story of we've known this has been coming from 2019, and really from where they were last September, who would have thought they would have won? They look better and got beaten by less than a kick by Collingwood the year before. Some may say they played better the year they didn't win the flag.
So a lot of close games that year. Collingwood were very good and outplayed them. And because Brisbane were accurate, you asked the players, they said we shouldn't really be in that game.
And the long way I'm going around is that has the build grown again?
They got a better list
in 25.
Yeah, good question, Q. Good question.
I may have gotten to a few holes.
They got a better list, and they know that they can do it. I cannot tell you the indefinable part of being a sportsman who plays Aussie rules footy in the AFL is that it's your mind and your belief and your understanding, because it's psychological, it's neurological, then it becomes physiological. It's there. I know that's deep, but that's what happens. And we don't know when we're playing that it's happening, but now that we're older, we understand that's a whole process. And we say as coaches, just believe in yourself, guys.
Yes.
We know it. We know you can do it. And you're like, why can't you just play on and do your best and back your instincts? They just know. They know they can play good footy. Doesn't mean they're going to win it, but they can do it.
Yeah, it's if you've got a thought, 0437 774 774. It's, I mean, you guys have lived it. That's why from the outside looking in, I'm fascinated with the top teams at the back end of the season and what goes on above the shoulders.
I think they'll do enough to finish top two, and then they know what they've got to do. I just think they'll just keep getting the job done till the end of the home and away season, and they'll finish top two, and then they'll be okay. We're ready to go, just because they've been through it and won it. And they've used the least amount of players. They've had the most amount of players play every game out of anyone in the comp this year. So they're looking after themselves. They're as healthy as everything. I just think they'll slowly build themselves up, and so a bit like Collingwood, just get themselves prepared for finals.
Fletcher, this is the group that's played every game. Fletcher, Dunkley, McCluggage, Will Ashcroft, Neal, Levi Ashcroft, Zorko, Rayner, Hipwood, Andrews, Bailey, Lester, Answorth, Wilmot. That's a huge group. Archie's missed one. Berry's missed one. Morris has missed one.
Continuity.
So
add those three, and that's a fair whack. And to see where they are. So I think mentally, if teams are off, they'd be sitting 6th or 7th, and and struggling a bit like that. But I know their percentage isn't the greatest of all the top 4 teams, but they just continue to win and find a way to win, and that tells me that they're in for the competition. They may not be in it over 4 quarters, but they know when they have to win, they just get the job done.
So
that's what good teams do.
Absolutely.
We get so hard on them. They should play this amazing footy every week. Doesn't work like such a long season. You get injured, you got to play, and
you're the hunted every week too.
And emotionally, you're not in the game. They are, and you've got to bring yourself in it.
Here's the pivot. By the way, if you've just tuned in, the final scores: Brisbane by 28 here, Hawthorn by 20 at Docklands. Here it was the Lions 18-12, 120 to Port's 14-8, 92. Radaglia hamstring, Visentini ankle, Powell Pepper knee injuries throughout the game for Port. Hawthorn 14-10, 94 to St Kilda 10, 14-74. So it's been a long. Ever since the succession plan was mentioned, we keep talking about it because it's a part of the Port Adelaide story in 2025. Matt, you've lived it as captain of the club, as coach of the club. You know Port Adelaide better than most. So the same question now for Port. Like, they showed some great footy there tonight. How the question for Port fans is, how does the breaking point where they can't make the finals not become dead time before the handover?
Yeah, it depends what... hopefully they're having the discussions amongst it. I'm sure Josh is probably running Monday to Friday training and match committee and that kind of stuff, and he's probably also talking to the recruiters about next year drafting and all that stuff. And the way they're competing shows that they're still listening to the message and they're still engaged and interested and invested in their results. I think Ken's moved up to the box the last couple of games, but before that he was down the bench. So Josh was calling the strings from the box, if you want to say that. So I don't think it's as big as issue. If they had, I think Sydney a month ago they put in a stinker. If they had been playing like that week after week, then you'd say, okay, something's wrong with the coaching method. But you saw the way they go tonight. They're invested in listening to what Ken's saying, and obviously also Josh. So I think it works, no worries. And I think there's also, you make a commitment, and Ken wants to stay to the commitment, and while those results, they're not the wins, but the way they're going about it, I think you stay strong to it.
And there's two ways to look at it, and the other most relevant example is Dean Cox coming in when the playing group didn't know that was going to happen.
Yep.
And off the back of a 10-goal grand final loss. So and everyone, round one, they got flogged by Collingwood. Everyone wanted to whack Port. It was so premature, but that's the way that it happens.
Yep.
So I'm just wondering, are we going to get to the end of this season one way or the other? The proof will only ever be in the first 10 weeks of next year.
Yep.
But is there almost a sense, if the boss is going, but the new boss is watching your every move?
Yeah,
is that almost...
That's a good thing, I think.
Well, all you can go on, and I'm not saying it just because I'm a Port man. I just think Ken's all about the club, and I know Josh would be. I think they would have discussed it, and they'd be doing a lot of stuff together. It just wouldn't be all Ken's way. There'd be an eye to the future and developing certain players, and those things would be going on as much as the winning in here and now. And I think good clubs do that, and I would envisage a good board and two mature guys would do it that way.
Is it fair enough to say that the intrigue of Port, as an outsider, to someone like you who's lived it both as captain, as coach, is that almost a part of Port is we don't give a stuff what they're saying about us.
Yeah.
We know what we're doing. And almost to spite you, we're going to do it our way, no matter what.
Absolutely, there's a bit of that, and then but there's also the mantra they have: we exist to win premierships. That drives the fan base to say, well, we're not going to win one this year, so move Ken on straight away. So you get that, but they're sticking solid to a commitment they made to the playing group, to the coaches, to the members. They're sticking true to that, and give them credit for it, because while the results, the win-loss, the way they're going about it says it's working.
It's always tough, isn't it? But you got to find a way, and your club, that's team first, club first. It's hard to do because, look at what are they going to do with Vossi? What's going on there? Everyone wants to sack the board. Is it the coach? They're not playing well. But what Port have done is it is club, and it's a beautiful thing, and you can never last forever, and you got to hand over the reins. But they do it better these days. I have no idea what they're going to do with your favourite team. Q, you're going to be in therapy for the next 4 months if they keep playing like this.
Q's son have been in therapy for 20 years.
It was a glorious. It was a glorious
good year.
4 months in 2023.
Yes.
2023.
Yeah.
What a year.
Yeah.
1995. Just remember 95. My first year.
Well, I got Stephen Kernahan to mention tonight.
Got him in, mate.
Stixie.
With that.
Hey, we just do a welfare check on Price. He got down there. So.
He hasn't come back.
Where is the great man?
He hasn't even brought back the equipment. ABC's going to be spewing. He's taken off. He's probably at the Cricketers Club having a drink.
He's having a kick to kick on his way back. They've now finished kick to kick, and
well, they're supposed to.
Fans.
Look, there was 55 blokes in there. In the middle,
in the security,
and they've just disappeared.
So at the two southeast Queensland venues over the years, we have seen basically one security guy try and stop a charging mass of 5,000 kids at Carrara. Guess who wins that? Well, they've beefed it up here at the Gabba, and they've got a few more. So
they got 5 guys down at
the
Carrara,
precious centre wicket area has been protected, and everyone's enjoying kick to kick, although the timer has sort of reached zero. Now they're coming to kick them off.
They're walking from one end to the other.
Statistics. Let's do those because we need your votes as well. Brisbane by 28 points here. Hugh McCluggage and Lachie Neale, surprise, surprise, at the top of the disposals count, both with 29. McCluggage with 29, Neale with 29. Bailey, 5 goals won, 26 disposals, 12 score involvements. Handy. Zork with 23, Ashcroft of the Will, 23, Rayner 22, Fletcher 19, Ashcroft of the Levi 19. Top group for Port, well, there they are again. Rosie 31, Butters 31. Excellent, again. Travis Boak 27, Ollie Wines 22. That's probably the one question. Why are those two blokes still so high in the possession count? Matt? It's because they're great, but why hasn't someone else found a way?
That's where their growth's got to be. There's too much relying on one or two players. Absolutely, and we saw Travis Boak. The way he still runs the games with those legs. Yeah, that is their next growth. I'm not sure where that's going to come from, but yeah, absolutely, Q. They've got to have some guys coming underneath because those two are coming to the end of their career over the next couple of years.
Drew 21, Horn Francis and Farrell 19, and yeah, just sort of so.
See, Horn Francis isn't. I don't think he's ever going to be in his career a 30 possession.
No,
he's the 20, but those 20, wow, they can be special. But he's still too much in and out, and carries on with a little bit of off.
He gives away free kicks.
Yeah. He made his comeback. Was it last night? But a sort of a Tom Mitchell guy would be handy at Port, wouldn't he? And an accumulator to distribute,
something like that. And another inside guy, but with some fresher, younger legs.
Yeah. Overall, Port had 7 more disposals, for what it's worth, 346 to 339. Contested possessions, Port +3. Clearances, Brisbane +2. There's not much in this. Tackles +16 to Port. And the inside 50s, would you believe it, ended up 55 apiece in the end. 55 apiece. Brisbane with 40 scores from 55 entries. And Port with the 22 scores.
Yep, there's a game.
No, sorry, not 40, 30. Jeez, my maths is no good.
Oh, it's been a long
late on a Saturday night.
You haven't been calling auctions like I have all day.
Well, see,
where the auction actually went backwards. It's supposed to go up in price.
Really?
That's not a good one. How do you work that, Acker?
That's a story.
That is a story.
No, it's first time ever. No, wait, no, second time. Okay.
Backwards.
It's happened before.
By much, mate?
Yeah, the guy was really happy. He's like, yeah, I'll take it. I was like, someone said, can I have that figure again? 5,595. Wait a minute. I've gone back. Actually, it was because it was a bunch of 2s and 3s. It was like 532, 500, and then it was 531. Oh my God, my head fell off.
So it's like me mixing up my Ashcrofts at a certain point in
Pretty
time.
much.
Yeah, okay.
But we don't do that in auction. You can't go down. Someone's going to get a cheaper price for a house. That's not how it works. Oh, everyone laughed and we moved on.
Hello, Michael. You're back from the rooms. Great job, mate.
Thanks very much, Zach Bailey. As soon as I said, I'll send you upstairs to Quentin Hull, Matthew Primus and Jason Ackermanis. As soon as I said Ackermanis, he went, oh, God.
Rubbish.
No, and Dane
with disappointment.
Sorry, Dane Zorko tried to sabotage as well because he wanted to talk golf with Zach Bailey and Jason Ackermanis.
Yeah, we were talking golf yesterday. We did. You didn't mention it on the call. I did late, but you were just too busy jibber-jabbering. But I had a function yesterday, which you guys know about, with Lynchie and Zorks. That was very entertaining. Very entertaining. Now, do you want 3, 2, 1?
No, I want you to tell me what made that. You can't do that to the listeners. They've hung around to 10 to 11 on the East Coast.
Someone's in Iceland.
It's 20 past 10 in South Australia. If you're going to tease them like that, you've got to give us a nugget.
Oh, well, it was actually, which nugget do you want? Because you can't say too much, you see, when you're still playing. Me and Lynchy had lots to say.
What are they? The Something House rules?
Yeah. We can't. But he did mention... No, he did mention what I said about I stole it because it's not fair because he can't say because he's a player. But he was the one that told me that Fletcher is better. He thinks will be better than all of them.
Yeah.
Of which I agreed about.
Yeah, so that was basically... During the call, Jay saying that he thinks Jasper Fletcher is going to surpass the Ashcrofts.
Now, we're talking about your career here. Yeah. We're not talking about the next tomorrow.
No.
It's over years. We'll see.
So let's get the votes now.
Yes.
After that little...
I had a great chat with Matty. Matty, you coached today.
Exactly.
No, I know 1 and 2. I'm just
coming into a night with us can sometimes test the best, but particularly after a senior VFL coach has had to sort of work today, and he's done a great job, Matt. I love that you guys put in to turn up to the footy.
I think he's 3. That's pretty easy. Zach Bailey gets 3 votes.
Okay,
well done.
2.
See, I'm a forward, and I like people that kicks goals, which I like Georgiades. And I think he's 2 votes because he was fantastic.
Beautiful. 4 goals.
4 goals.
Yep.
And then there's this guy who's having the best year ever that could have kicked another one, and it's unfair.
Yes.
But he was enormous.
It was.
Which is McLuggage for 1 vote.
3 to Bailey, 2 to Georgiades, and 1 to Hugh McCluggage. So Brisbane,
well done, okay.
11 wins, 1 draw, 4 losses. Carlton next, then the Dogs here, and then Q Clash. Port, West Coast at home, Hawthorn in Tassie, and then the showdown, and they'll start that run of 3 games with a 7-win, 9-loss record.
Ooh, that's juicy. Are you calling any of those games? Are we calling any of those games?
Yeah, we're doing the Dogs game in a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah, that's the Ackermann's Cup. Forgot about that.
The Ackermann's Cup.
I thought it was the Mitch Hahn Cup. Mitch spent a lot of time up here.
He didn't play. He was a superstar anywhere.
he was a coaching member in.
I was leading goal kicker here and there. You know that should have been All Australian 4 times down there.
The Brad Hardy Cup.
No.
Oh, there you go.
Brad Hardy.
A Bear.
He's a superstar.
Brownlow medalist.
That's good. Yeah, he played for the Bears, but didn't play for the Lions.
Beat Justin Madden via
Didn't play for the Lions.
Played for Footscray, though, did
Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm.
But not the Lions.
Are there any other
Bears,
cross?
he did.
Oh, no, it's the Josh Dunkley Cup now.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's a premiership player for both teams.
They're stirring you up,
You've been
they're stirring
supplanted.
you up.
No, that's right. Take it, Josh. I don't want it. I'm sick of people. They ring me all the time in that week. All these radio stations. Oh, the Ackermann's Cup. No, it's not. Played 4 years. Give Josh Dunkley a ring. That's great. I've got to get him off my case.
There you go. I knew I'd let
interviews.
you go with something valuable from the night, Jason. Now, let's have a quick look at tomorrow's footy. I'm heading to the SCG. Hopefully the turf holds up. I'm on duty with the boys for Sydney and Freo.
Big game, that one, Freo.
Freo just rolling along, aren't they? That's been... that's
most uninspiring, boring team you could ever want to...
You don't like watching them?
No, and I don't like talking about them. They're just one of those teams. If they could finish first, I wouldn't care.
Okay, well, let's go to Adelaide versus Melbourne tomorrow. Do you have anything to say about that?
That'll be a good game. Adelaide having a great year.
Adelaide will smoke them.
They're having a good year.
Yep. 8 goals.
God, they're playing well. Their defence, their tackling, they're exciting to watch.
You know what, Q? I've just seen on the replay screen what you were describing earlier about Travis Boak. You know, ever so gently just putting his arm around Sam Powell-Pepper as he had his head in his hands. You could actually see the well up in the eyes of Travis Boak. That's a dramatic shot if somebody got it.
I'm glad that
you saw it.
That's been picked up because there was a Lions player having a set shot. And I was just looking at Powell-Pepper, see how he was moving. And, yeah, it's one of those images that...
they live together.
Will resonate.
Yeah, and
not now.
And he's a great team man. All the players love he not only the way he goes about it, but off field and that kind of stuff. So
Powell-Pepper.
Yeah, and so it'd be heartbreaking for those boys.
Well,
and
the work he's done. As mentioned, probably the last time that they will be pictured in their battle armour together. I don't think they'll
they could play Masters.
A footy game.
You could go on, you could do other things. I'm just saying, maybe at the AFL level, right? That's what he's saying.
I think that's what he's saying.
Yeah, all right. It could be it.
I'll take that.
Now, a reminder that we've got plenty of sport to come with Wimbledon coming up tonight. If the rain stops, well, they've got the main courts will get on shortly. In fact, it looks like everything's up and going again. Kassat Keener is down a set and down a break in the second set to Samsonova. Dimonor to come later. So Wimbledon's available. The cricket is a bit over an hour away. Australia's lead is 45 at 2 for 12 in the second innings. Cam Green and Nathan Lyon to resume. And repeating earlier tonight, the Hawks won by 20. Brisbane by 28 here. Melbourne and Canberra were the winners games in the NRL tonight, and the British and Irish Lions beat the Waratahs 21 points to 10. Tomorrow the Wallabies play Fiji. You can hear that on Sports Extra. Thanks to Lucas in the studio. Thank you, gentlemen, here to Peter Scott on the faders as well. That's round 17 done Saturday night at the Gabba. Hands it to Hipwood, hands it back to Bailey, runs the bullseye, kicks inside 50. Charles Cameron marks, plays on, and says, John Denver, get into it early. Into the open goal he goes. Sweet's in the ruck at the moment against Day. Bailey rides the pack in the right forward pocket, dribbles on goal and gets a bounce which leaps over the left arm of Valia on the line. What a fortunate turn of events for Zach Bailey in Brisbane.
Neil into the corridor, now to the runner Darcy Wilmot, little 9-iron, chips it there too, Bailey spoiled, picked up by Lohman, flicked it over his head, went to Archie goes bang! Oh, Harlem Globetrotter stuff from the Brisbane Lions, that is magnificent. Off the hands, Neil, handball inside 50 to Lohman, the showman unleashes! And he gives the crowd something to applaud as well. A little bit of a strut up against the fence, Kai Lohman.
Horne-Francis kicks dangerously across half-back. Oh, he's missed his target. Bailey pinches his pocket and bang, bang, bang! That's the price you pay against the Premier. Horne-Francis from 50. It's a mongrel Steve Kernahan beauty. That's a South Australian sack if ever you've seen it. The great Sticks would be proud of the flight path of that one. George Yardis already has 3. This would make the margin 16 points. 11 minutes into the final term, 2 steps infield, perfectly executed right foot snap. This is bold from the boys from Alberton. Roved by Bailey of Brisbane and Levi Ashcroft on the scrimmage, on the edge of the square, kicks it through. Stolen by Lohman of Brisbane in the centre. Hands it to Neil, hands it to Hipwood, hands to Bailey, runs to 50. He wants 5! He's got 5! And time is counting down at the Gabba. It's been a thoroughly entertaining affair, one where Port will go back home licking their wounds with injured men. They've tried hard, but the Premiers have been too good.